It's Monday. Let's see. 22, 21, 29, 19th, I guess? Yes, 19th. We had our little boy Geronimo had a birthday yesterday.
Yesterday.
7 years old. So we got him a pizza. We went to the pizza parlor on this side of the road and, a couple months ago, and it was absolutely the most horrible pizza you ever ate. It was just the sauce was all sugar. We took a bite of it, and every single one of us spit it out. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. Then we got a frozen pizza. It was horrible. We just could not having luck on pizza. Well, Faye went over to Marco's. It's called a Marco's Pizza. It's like a chain. I guess they got a few of them around here in northern Ohio. Guys, that was a good pizza. The sausage was, I don't know if it was Bill Gates sausage. I think made out of crickets' asses or some shit like that. But careful, bub. But the pepperoni was good, and the crust was good. The sauce was excellent. It was really good. And then we put some extra cheese on it. Came with cheese, but we had some shredded mozzarella. We put some of that on there, and it was a fantastic pizza. So he had a good birthday. We had a pizza, but he said he's not going to turn 7
They
until he
Barbies.
blows out the candles. Yeah, and we got him a snorkel because the pool's going to open up on Friday, and then he could go snorkeling in there. And I'm going to be out there also.
Can this go under the water and I still bleed?
I don't know.
Ah.
I wouldn't do that. But let me do my live, okay? But I was out in the garage for hours yesterday. The kids were riding their bikes. We got the tandem out, made sure the air was all in the tires. I got that real nice electric pump now. Hello. And I went ahead and made sure all the tires were pumped. The motorcycle tires didn't go down, not even a tenth of a pound. I mean, they're just perfect right where I put them. Front one takes like 21 pounds, and the back one takes 36. They want that front one softer, but it still feels hard, even though it's only got 21 pounds. It's a 21-inch tire, and so that's a good way to remember. 21-inch tire, 21 pounds psi in it. And the back one's a 19-inch instead of an 18, so I had to put 36 pounds in that. And I got to lighten up the spring on that a little bit. We got to get the oil changed. I'm just going to have to take it in. I can't get my hands to work, but I went in today for supposedly you get the chemo, and instead of me getting a chemo shot in the stomach, they just gave me a couple bags of stuff, and they said next week will be my last shot, a bag of stuff and a shot, and then I'm done. And I did decide, after reading and talking to the hospital over here, to get the stem cell. It's my cells. They're going to take my own out. And they don't take them all. I mean, I thought they were going to like completely wipe my immune system. They said they take my immune system down to about 95%. They knock 95% of it out. So I still got a little bit. That way, if I catch something, they can at least throw some antibiotics in there. And the antibiotics got white blood cells to work with, in case if I do get sick. But she said we're not really having that much trouble with anybody. She's been doing this nurse, Nancy, her name is. She's been doing this for 40 years, and they've been doing your own stem cell transplants out of your own body. She said for over 20, and it's just great success. She's got some patients that got 15, 20 extra years on them, because you never get rid of this cancer. At least they don't kill it all. I mean, I know a fellow that went to Germany. He's coming back. He'll be back next week. They gave him massive doses of ivermectin, and they killed it. But see, it was different than me because his kidneys didn't fail. I had to go in because my kidneys were failing, and they had to work on my kidneys, and they were going to put me on dialysis and all this. So I had to go a different route, and I took the chemo, and I didn't have time to get to Germany. The guy said if you'd waited another week, he said you'd have been dead. He said your kidneys would have failed and you're dead meat. So I was like, okay, I got you. But we had a really, a really nice time yesterday. I had the bike out a little bit, motorbike, and just looking it over. I got so much stuff I want to do to it, but I can't do it myself. I got to get some Loctite I might be able to do the center stand. And my hands, hey, come on now, come on. My hands got a little bit stronger today. So I was able to grip a few things. So that's starting to go away. He said what's happening is that blotch that's on the nerve in in the small, or in the between my shoulder blades. It was about as big as a golf ball. It's a big blotch right on the nerve, and it was attacking the nerve. Now it's like as big as a pea. It's still on the nerve, so I got this numbness in my hands, but it's going away, guys. I mean, it's not going to be long. My hands are going to come back, so I'm real happy about that. This is, it's been a long road. I just been trying to let you guys know what happens when you get this multiple myeloma, and it's kind of a rough ride. It takes a while. You just got to just stay at it. And I told the doc, man, I can't. I got no power. And then what they did was, every time I go in for that shot in the stomach, they give me like this massive dose of steroids, Medrol. And then what happens is, after that goes through my system, my body stops making it, and then I get into this downer where I can't walk. So the doctor said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you that big dose. Tomorrow, you're going to take a small dose. The day after, you're going to take a small dose, and then you're even going to take smaller doses 2 days after that. And he says that way your body will taper off of it, and you'll be better. And you know something? He was dead on the money. I said, man, why didn't you give me that shit months ago? And he said, well, you never said nothing. And I said, yeah, I guess I keep my mouth shut. He says, if I'd have known you were feeling that way, I'd have done it months ago. He said, I just don't want you, I don't want you being sick. So, but I was down there today. They picked me up. Hey, come on now. Put mommy's cover back. She's getting mad again. She's always mad now. Don't do that. This one right here. I got so mad at him today because a little lady friend of Face came over, and she asked Moo something, and he's a 7-year-old kid, and this is a 68-year-old adult, and he tells her none of her business, and boy, did that tick me off. That is totally disrespectful, and he's cruising. He's cruising for a bruising. I'm telling you what, I just hate that. A child don't speak to adults like that. That was very disrespectful. And next time he does it, he's going to get a dose of soap in his mouth. I'll give him some Dawn. I'll give you a big squirt of Dawn right in your mouth, pal. That ticked me. And the lady was very upset. She jumped right back at him. And then we got another friend. When Maddie just loves these people. He's real sweet to him. And that lady come over and bought him a cake and bought him a birthday present. Well, Mumu goes, what about my present? She says, no, you're a bad boy. I'm not buying you a cake. I'm not buying you a present. You're bad. And I always said that. He's either going to be a general, the president, or he's going to be a prisoner. Because he can really, he can be a little shit is what he can be. He doesn't realize how nasty he's being to adults. You can't treat adults like the way he's been doing. He thinks he's on their level, and that, I ain't going for it. So we're having a little bit of trouble with him right now. So he's feeling his oats. He thinks he's the boss or something, and I'm getting ticked at it. But the other kids are doing great. They got their report cards, straight A's. And I was real happy. The teachers put notes in there that they're very well disciplined, and they get all their stuff done, their homeworks and all that kind of stuff. So the school's happy. Dorothy's going to stay in the Berea School District when we move, if we get that apartment. And then the boys will go to the Brook Park Middle School. Mumu will go for a couple years. Maddie will go for 2 years. And then they'll go back to Berea because Brook Park doesn't have a high school or a middle school. So we'll still use the Berea School District. And I want to keep them in the Berea schools because I think the Berea schools, they're great schools. I really do. I wish they had a better sports program. Pretty good sports program. But, these kids need the exercise. Dorothy said there's no recess. I said, yeah, because they're going to have intramurals. You're going to have basketball, volleyball, tetherball, badminton. You're going to have all kinds of sports you can join. She goes, I can join us. Yeah, you're going to join, and we're going to go watch you. We'll watch you play volleyball or whatever sport you pick up and just get real good at whichever one you like. And if you try one and don't like it, that's fine. Try another one. Maybe you like basketball. Maybe you want to play badminton. And then the little neighbor kid gave her shuttlecock and some badminton paddles today. Just today. The Chinese people are moving out. We bought 2 twin beds from them, and then they gave us stuff. They gave us a rocker. They gave us a real nice little, like a chest to put stuff in. It's like almost like a dining room chest. You can put a TV on it or something. It's got doors in it. It's very nice. Just gave it to us. And the little kids gave my kids like some of their toys. They're moving to Missouri. I guess he's going to take a job in Missouri, this fella. He's got the U-Haul. They were packing it up today, and we're going to miss him. It's a Chinese couple, and you got 2 little girls, and they're just super nice people. And I'm going to hate to see him go. You know, I used to go out and talk to him every morning when the kids were getting on the bus. His kids are very well mannered. His 2 little daughters. They're all real skinny, though. I mean, there's like super skinny, these people. I guess them commies didn't feed them very good. But they escaped. He said they were able to get a trip to Korea, and I guess as soon as they got to Korea, they immediately jumped on another plane to Japan and like defected. And he got out, and he's here now. He can't ever go back because they ain't never going to let him go again. But he got out of China, and he said it's terrible there. He says nobody realizes. He says it's not as bad as what they really say, but he goes, they tell you how much you're going to make, and they tell you how many hours you're going to work, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, hey, Boogles, my wife made some fried rice today. She made a real good breakfast this morning. I had a hell of a fine breakfast this morning, and then I had to go to. It was supposed to be chemo, but I didn't get it. I got the bags of stuff this time. They said we're going to hold you off. Next week's my last one. Well, usually they bring a cart around and they give you a sandwich, a hot sandwich, maybe some potatoes and gravy, something to eat. Well, they didn't do that today. The girl that runs the cart didn't show up, and it's free. They don't charge you for it. And I was like, boy, I was really hungry. So when I got home, my wife we got a Chipotle's over here now. And I got myself a steak burrito with sour cream and guacamole and beans. And boy, I'll tell you what, they're big. Let them things get fish. Hi, Dorothy. And hey, Paulie. We get moving. I got to find a hibachi. I wish I could find a way to buy your old-fashioned Sportsman grill off you, the one with the side door. I wish I could get that off you. Them things are so damn heavy, but I can't find one here. The only thing I've seen at the Walmart comes close to it is the hibachi. And when we move, it's got a big grassy area and picnic tables, and I want to barbecue. I want to get out there and barbecue. I'd like to get a pizza oven. They don't here. They got free natural gas, so you can use their gas barbecue grills. But over there, you got to use charcoal or wood, whatever you want to use. They don't have natural gas. The charcoal grills are like set all around in the grass by the picnic tables, all spread out. So you pick a table and you grab a grill and you can go ahead and cook. I love the old Sportsman's grill. You know why? Because you can pull the side out and you can add more wood. The new one, you got to take the grates off and pick your food up to put more coal or wood in there. Well, the old one, you just open up the drawer and stick it in. If you want to put your smoking chips or whatever, because I like to do that to hamburgers. I like to cook the hamburgers or deer burgers on the grill, get them nice and brown, and then throw some hickory smoke in there. And that smokes them up and gives them a real good flavor. But with the new one, you got to either drop it through the grates, and it's just, I love the old one. They should have never changed how they made that. I know they're heavy as hell, but boy, those Sportsman's grills are nice. And I missed out. On getting one. I went to buy it, and it had the picture of the old one, and they sent the new one. Well, I sent it right back. I don't want this one. I want the one with the door. Now, oh, sir, that's discontinued. We don't have that one anymore. And I was like, oh, man, that's the good one. Why do they make something that's really good, and then they stop making it? It's like the big old Lincolns and the big old Cadillacs. They make these beautiful cars. They run forever if you keep the oil changed in them. Or they make the Mercury Marquis. The damn things run forever, and what do? They quit making them. They just say, oh, sorry, we're not making these anymore. They were too good, and everybody liked them, so we're going to stop making them. That's basically what they do now, so it's just a real shame, but I had a good day today. Hey, Sal. You know something? I feel a lot better. I'm a little weak today. They gave me the 2 bags of juice today. They gave me one, And then they checked my blood, and he came back. He said, "I'm going to go ahead and give you another one, and it's to keep the T cells down on me, the ones that are broken, and it's helping to clear out of my body and clear up the kidneys." So I got that today, and he says, "You're going to be weak tonight," and he was right. We did take a big walk today. We walked up to UPS, and then we went to Chipotle's, my wife and I, and then we went to Mark's, and we got some beef for the synagogue, and I walked all the way home. That was the longest I walked in, I don't know, 2-3 months, and I made it without getting too tired. Under my own steam. So, I'm coming around. I'm starting to come around. I haven't gained any weight. I'm 198 pounds. I've been 198 pounds for the last 3 weeks straight with my clothes on. I was 180, but I picked up 18 pounds, and now I'm just I stopped. And the doctor said, "Hey, you need to gain some weight." He wants me to eat yogurt, but I buy yogurt and the kids eat it. So I don't get any. And he wants me to get some of this whey protein and make a drink like a milkshake. And he says, I want you to drink that. You need it in case if this comes back. You need the weight to lose. If you get hit again, you ain't got the weight to lose. You'll go down to 120 pounds and die. So he says, you need to pick up weight as quickly as you can. And they gave me that Ensure stuff. So they gave me cases of that stuff. He says, man, I want you to drink one of those every meal. I want you to take this whey protein and Tiger's Milk is the one I saw down at Walmart. So I thought, okay, I got to get that. I got to wait till payday, and I'm going to buy a jug of that and just start taking that to try to pick up and gain some weight. I'm probably going to go over to the weight room. But you know what's funny? When I was young, I used to work out with 350 pounds bench press. That was my workout. Do reps with that. I couldn't bench 70 pounds the other day. There was a girl on there, and she had 70 pounds on there, and I couldn't bench it. I just don't got the power. So then I went ahead and I lowered it down to 50, and I was able to do some reps at 50, but my arms are locked up, and look what happened. I got all purple here. Look at that. Look at my old saggy grandpa arms. I got purple from lifting them weights in the weight room. I hit the metal thing, and it just gave me a hell of a old bruise because of the blood thinners, which is cumin, and it's rat poison. So I do love the Lodge. I love their cookware. And some people say, oh, I'm doing pretty good, Michael. I'm feeling better. I walked we walked about a mile today. I walked about a whole mile, and before I was lucky if I could do a tenth of a mile before I played out. Today I walked the whole thing, walked all around, stayed on my feet, walked through the grocery store. I didn't get the electric buggy and walked through the store with Faye, and then I came back and we walked all the way home. But we should be moving in June. We did an application over at this place called Arcadia, and they never said whether we got the place or not. She's waiting, and I'm like, look, we got to know. We got to know, because if we don't get the place over there, we got to take a place here, which is way more expensive. It's like $1,650 a month, whereas over there I can get a 2-bedroom for $950. Well, I want $950. That's a lot of extra money that we could use for the kids and grocery shopping and all that. Because we spend so much money on food here, it's just unbelievable. With the fruit. When you're buying the fruit, something I found out, they got those little tags on there, and if it's got a 4-digit number that starts with a 4 or 5, don't buy it. That's got pesticides and sealants and chemicals. You gotta buy the ones that they're a 5-digit number and they start with a 9. That's your stuff that has no sprays, no GMO, none of that stuff. Well, it's double, guys. Like on the bananas. You get bananas 25 cents a pound. Those are 72 cents a pound for those ones. But you know what? That's what I'm buying. I'm buying that for the kids because I don't want them eating these chemicals. And they'll suck up shit. Those kids will suck up 10 pounds of bananas in 2 days. And same way with apples. I bought 2 bags of apples the other day. Gone. They sucked them up. Well, I had a couple myself. And then we bought 2 more bags today, and it's $5 a bag now. It's close to $1 an apple. And it's like, gosh, dang. But I'm doing really good, Michael. I feel pretty good today. A little bit weak, but not as bad as I have been. I'm getting more upbeat now. because it's everything's starting to go away. The hands are starting to work again. I want to get on the motorcycle so bad, you know. Hey, Arch. Yeah, the only thing I have is I have Zilly, Zille, and I do have a PayPal. I have a PayPal account. And some guy hit me. He goes, "Oh yeah, you're on there begging for money." And I'm like, "Hey, you know something? I watched you do a live, and you took in like $500 while you were doing your live. People doing super chats and sending you money for a beer or a coffee or something, and you're going to tell me I can't do that? Ah, you big dope." Some of them people really make me sick. But I did have some folks send me some. The one fella, what the heck was his name? The Hammer guy. When we were getting the tickets for Faye to come here, the guy sent $1,000, and I don't even know him. I was so shocked that this man was so nice to us and didn't ask for nothing back. He says, "No, here, this is a gift. This is for you. Get your wife here. You need help." And it just overwhelming, guys. So many people sent like $10, $25, and before you know it, we had our ticket money. I mean, we had our ticket money in like a week. People putting it on that Zelle, Zelle, straight to the bank. You got to put my phone number in there, and then it goes to my bank, or PayPal with my email address. You just go to PayPal and you say Rick Shaw, one word, 82885 at Gmail, and then my account pulls up, and you can say, "Okay, here's $5, here's $10, have a coffee on me," or something like that. But it's better not to go through. I don't even monetize my videos no more. I just said, heck with it. They're never going to pay me. They owe me over $4,000. They've never paid me a dime, and they take 40%. Is what everybody tells me. So no, I don't. I just don't even do it anymore. That way, you guys don't got to watch the commercials. And if anybody wants to send a couple bucks because of my channel, send me on PayPal or Zilly or something. That's cool. And something, guys, every $5-10 counts here. I had to pay my wife's I-485. It was almost $1,500. $60 short of $1,500, and that killed us this month. And then I went in, everything else I had I spent on food. And then Faye had a couple $100, and she just spent her last 100 on food today. And we're out until payday. Now I'm seeing they want to do a stimulus again. Hey Ken, how you doing, buddy? So, Arch Stanton, that was on the unmarked grave next to Arch Stanton. That's where the gold was, the Tuco. when he was shooting the ropes. Shooting the holes in the ropes. I tell you what, I got a whole bunch of Lodge cast iron in here. You know why I like the Lodge? I have a Dutch oven. It's not a big one. It's I think it's a 12 quart. You can't see it in the camera, but it's about so big. Well, what they do with the lids, on most of the cast iron lids that you buy from the other companies, it's a smooth surface. So all your liquid goes up to the dome and it pours off on the side. Well, Lodge, they put these hundreds of little, I don't know about hundreds, but tits all on there. So the steam hits that, it collects on that, and then it drips over your chicken when you're cooking chicken. And I'm telling you what, that's the best way to cook them little Cornish game heads. I'll poke 3 of them in there. And we do it either in the oven or on the stove. And you don't take it out till you smell it. You don't got to brown it or nothing. As soon as you smell it, pull that lid off, and then crank it up a little bit for 10 minutes. And started. So we're gonna have that tomorrow. Hey, Ronald, how you doing, buddy? I feel better, buddy. Yeah, I'm starting to come around. They told me they just did a urine test, so they got to let me know how the kidneys are doing. But they said my kidneys are operating at about 50% now, and those broken cells that my body was producing, antibodies. You're supposed to have per milliliter, I think it's like 40, and I had 400,000, so it clogged up my kidneys and just caused me all kinds of problems. So they got that down now. My bone marrow went haywire and was making too much, so they got that fixed. And I'm coming around, guys. I got one more chemo, not Monday because it's a holiday, so I go in on Tuesday, and then I'm done, and then I'm going to get like a month and a half break, and then I go to this other hospital. It's all they do is that transplant, the T cell transplant, or whatever they call it. And did some reading about it. Went to the hospital, listened to them, what they had to say. You know, it's a sales pitch. It's expensive. It's like 75 grand, but the insurance is going to cover it. And they said, we're going to make sure the insurance is in place. And they called today and said, okay, your insurance is good. You're going to be ready to go at the end of July, beginning of August, whenever you're ready. And then I'll go in I got to go in for 5 days. I go in, they give me a shot to boost my immune system. And I go in the next day, get another one. And then on the 5th day, they're going to put that line in to extract the cells in your neck. And for 5 days, they're going to take them out, freeze them. And then I'm going to they're going to blast me with chemo and kill 95% of my immune system. And then they're going to come back the following week, and then they're going to go ahead and put those cells back in. And as soon as the cells start growing, they send me home, and then that'll fight everything. So that's what it is. Okay. Oh, I love it, Ronald. I love the cast iron. And the Lodge, I like it because it doesn't warp. I had a buddy that bought it was an off-brand. I can't remember what it was, but I told him, I said, man, this one's not very heavy. It was a big oval pan, like for a roasting pan with a nice lid. No tits on the lid, though. And he put it on the fire, and it warped. It twisted all like crazy. And I was like, man, look at that. My Lodge, you can throw that thing right into hot coals, and it's thick. Well, of course, it's 3 times as heavy, too. I mean, you can't pick the damn thing up. It's so heavy. And for camping, you don't want to bring your cast iron camping. It's just too damn heavy. But when I camp, anytime I ever camped, I used to have a thing called seal a meal. And I would make spaghetti, or I'd make bacon and eggs, and I'd put them in the seal a meal. And then what I would do is I would just get a boiler, something to boil water in. And then I dropped them seal a meal bags in. And I got myself a spoon, a fork, and a spork, it's called. And then I can dip my cup in and make my coffee from the boiling water. And then you pull the seal meal out and you just cut it with a pair of scissors or a knife or something, and you peel that open, and that's your plate. And then I'm just eating hot spaghetti. And these guys are frying up greasy bacon and all this stuff, making a mess. And I'm like, yeah, man, I don't need to do that. I'm taking seal meal on the canoe trips and stuff. We used to go on these 90-mile canoe trips. We'd put in at the one place, like Deliverance, and we'd ride 90 miles down the river and just have a blast. We had a big cooler with beer in it and stuff. And yeah, hey, Sean. I love the cast iron. We just had Faye bought some steaks here a week or so ago, some rib steaks, and fried them up in the cast iron. Boy, those things were just delicious. I like to broil steaks, but if you're not using the broiler, it really messes the oven up. And I thought, we'll just put them in the skillet. You put them in there with a little bit of ghee and a little bit of fat. I always get ones that have a little fat on them. Boy, they just came out fantastic. We didn't get much. We all just got a little piece because the damn things was $27 for 2 little steaks. Shit. I couldn't believe how expensive. But delicious. It was rib steaks. I think rib steaks are some of your best steaks you can get. They got the best flavor to them, if you ask me. But it's just expensive. You got, if you want them, you got to pay for them. And I was amazed at how many were in the store. There was 3 steaks. They were some kind of sirloin. There was a sirloin, a T-bone, and a porterhouse. And it was cut real thick. I don't like a real thick steak. It was cut real thick, and I forget what the poundage was, but it was $68 for this little pack of meat. I said, one dinner, it's gone, And I'm like, God dang. So expensive right now. And it's all the trucking, with the gas prices and everything, because they got to drive them cows places to the butcher shop, and they're using all that electricity. It's just a shame. Yeah, the Lodge gear, that's the best stuff. That's all we got in here. I got a whole bunch of it. I got the little fry pan. We don't use the little one that much unless I'm going to cook just an egg. If I get up in the morning and I want an egg or 2, it saves you on the ghee. I put in a big scoop of ghee in there and then just boil it in there. and boil it in the ghee, and then you just right out of the pan, just take your bread and dip it in the ghee like butter, and eat that, and eat your eggs. It's just fantastic. Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy? There's my wrench. Paulie and Mike are my wrenches for these trolleys. I get trolleys from now on. But we're glad to see Mike. He sent me some, well, he sent us all a bunch of jerky. I can't eat a whole lot because of the salt, but boy, I'll tell you what, that guy, Mike, you make the best jerky in the world. You can't buy jerky as good as that stuff you made. And we're like down to it. I think we got a couple pieces left, huh, Faye?
Yes, I hide it.
It's hidden down there, but Faye hid some so that the kids wouldn't eat it all. Maddie took a damn bag to school one day and he came home and the bag was empty. I said, "You ate all them?" He goes, "Yeah, that's really good, Dad." Yeah, the Biden family packs, $90. But they got a sale now at Giant Eagle over here. They got chuck roast for $4 a pound. And they're nice chuck roast, nice and marbled. Looks like it's Hereford. And then they had some real nice black Angus. And it was $4.90 something a pound. And that, to me, that's worth it. That's where you go spend the money. But Faye picked up some, what were those ones you got today? What kind of meat was that? It was real tender. She cooked it in a pressure cooker. And she makes this thing called sinigang. It's like a pot roast, but she throws okra in there and beans and these like horseradish pieces. And oh man, it was delicious. I love that stuff. It's got like a little packet. It doesn't have MSG in it, but it's like a sour package. It gets a little bit of a vinegary taste. And boy, I'll tell you what, I'll take that over a pot roast any day. Filipino sinigang, if you can get it. I know, Paulie, you've had it. And it's I had a nice big old bowl. I even had some rice today.
Mama, come on, Mom.
Yeah, they got me on, I went ahead and I signed up for that fire foam thing. When I was in boot camp, we had to do fire foam training. And I was a big kid. I mean, when I went into boot camp, I was about 290 pounds, 6'8", and just big, strong as a bull because I was, basketball player, football player, baseball player, an athlete. And I thought, if anybody's going to put a fire out, it better be me. Well, we were playing in that shit. We were squirting each other with it, 17-year-old punk kids, and we're spraying each other with this foam. And they show on the Facebook where the people got masks. They never gave us no masks. We had a rag over our face, That didn't keep. We were breathing that stuff and spraying each other with it. We were playing it. It was bubbles. And now they say that's what caused your cancer. So we're looking to get me 100%. This lawyer said within a couple months I'm going to have you 100% disability through the VA, which is with the kids it's $4,100. And then we also filed for that $200,000 settlement. And he said they're going to give another payout in September. I'm on the September list. The lawyer gets half though. So from filing my case, he gets $100,000. But I'll get $100,000. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go down to Ronald's and I'm going to find a nice brick ranch and say, I'm going to take that one. Heck with the car. We'll worry about a car later. I'm going to buy a house. And if I got money left over, then I'll buy a car. But I don't know when, for sure when it's going to come. He said it should be there in September, but you know how lawyers are. They'll tell you one thing and shit in one hand and piss in the other, I guess. Yeah, you go through all that stuff. You got to be exposed to it more than 8 times to get the thing, to get the stuff. Well, I did 8 of the mandatory ones of putting the fires out in the barrel. They had like a barrel fire, or they started a big pile of garbage and we went in a gymnasium and put it out with the foam. And then I did 20 more, where we were outside. And we actually had like it was a mocked up plane, like a big model plane. And they started that thing on fire and the missiles, and we had to go put that out. I trained on that 10 times just because it's hard to put them out. You really got to hold that hose up high, and it doesn't squirt as far as you think it would. It's not like a fire hose that'll shoot 40 feet. This thing would only shoot, so you got to get right up on it, and you got to kind of stay behind the foam so the heat doesn't get you, and you do have a suit on. It's like a silver suit with a gold thing, but there's no mask. There's no particulate mask or anything. You're breathing that stuff. So they said that's what caused it, and they're going to get me 100% disability. And he said, with your kids, it's not $3,850. You've got 3 kids. It's going to be about $4,100. You'll get a month. And if I can get 100%, man, that'd be great. We'll be okay. We'll be like we were in the Philippines, because the Philippines, we were doing fine. And I come here and I'm just broke all the time. I hate it. I stinking hate it. But things are turning around. I gotta go to the little boys' room, guys. I'm having a little bit of trouble walking on this hip yet. It's not as bad as it was, but it's hard to put weight on right now. On my hip, they did that bone biopsy, and I talked to a fellow that had it done, and he said it took about 2.5 months before it stopped hurting him. He said he couldn't walk on his either. I talked to a big black fellow named Al, and his story was the exact same as mine. You know what I mean? Everything that happened to me happened to him. And shit, I don't want to piss my damn pants. But like his hands weren't working, and he said he couldn't walk on his hip, and then his wife passed away. He said he was down. He crawled out of the bedroom and he went to the kitchen because he heard a noise in there, and here she fell over with a heart attack. And the welfare people were coming to his door trying to put him in the home, and then he got his daughter to come, to keep him out of the home. But he said that was 10 years ago, and he looked pretty good. He looked, boy, I'll tell you what, guys, he looked really good. He got the stem cell, and then what he has to do is once a year, he has to go back in and get like a maintenance dose, they call it. And I met him 2 weeks ago. Boy, was that a hell of a nice fella. He was a Navy senior chief. And boy, he was just a big fella. Bigger than me. He was just a big strapping fella in his 70s. And just a super nice guy. And but like I say, his story was exactly like mine. Everything that happened to me, he was naming it off and it happened to him. And I says, yeah, this sort of sucks, don't it? He's like, yeah, you ain't kidding you. But he goes, in a year from now, 6 months, you're going to forget it all happened. He goes, you're going to get back to normal. You'll start gaining your weight. And I said, boy, I hope so. Hey, man, had to go. You gotta go there, buddy. Oh, my. I don't want to piss in my drawers. And the really bad thing is, I got these Wrangler pants from Walmart, and the zipper is like this big. I can't even get a hold of it. So my wife got one of these keychain things. I don't know if you can see that there. There's a little keychain thing that I can grab onto right there, so I can get a hold of this stupid thing. But it still takes a minute to get that down. I don't want to piss in my damn pants. Well, if you got to go on a live, man, I got to go. So somebody else said something the other day too. They said, "Man, I can't believe that you might took a pass while you're on your live." I said, "Well, you got to go, man. I can't. I can't wait. It's not. My prostate is okay. They actually said my prostate was a little bit big, and they said because of the chemo that's taking it down. Now my dad had prostate cancer, and I went to the doctor with him, and he went to see the doctor. He says, "Okay, you want to take it out." And his willy's not going to work.
I won't.
And he's okay, and he's going to be dribbling. He says, "What if I don't do anything? How long will I live?" And I said, 20 years. He said, "Shit, I'm in my 70s. I'm going to live 20 years anyway." So he didn't do anything. He did nothing. And it didn't cause him any more problem. They'd have taken the damn thing out. Well, because they're giving me the chemo, it shrunk it. The guy, they put your stupid finger up your butt, and they say, "Oh, it's enlarged." Well, they tested that the other day, and it's not enlarged no more. That chemo shrunk it. So, but man, I'll tell you what, guys, I am feeling a hell of a lot better. This is the first week. Yesterday I was out in that beautiful sunshine, It was 86 degrees here, and it was just great. Okay, Ronald. Yeah, I'll probably be here a little bit. I'm not going anywhere right now. I got a few people on, and I like talking to you guys. Yep. Yeah, they don't give you any of that stuff. I laughed my butt off when they were showing that fire foam FHHH stuff that we were spraying all over the place. And they showed these guys with these like firemen's masks on. They didn't give us that. We tied a rag around our head. We got some gauze from like the pharmacy and wrapped that around, and that don't stop nothing. That just keeps your face from getting too wet. But we were sucking that stuff in, and they claim that's what causes the multiple myeloma. And this lawyer says, I'm going to get you some money. He says, you're on the class action suit. And he says they pay out every 3 months, every 90 days, and they got billions in the fund. And he says, the average right now, people are getting 200,000, but he said, hey, I get half. He says, I'm going to do this for you, I get 50%. And if you don't sign the paper, I ain't going to do it for you. So I said, well, I'll take 100,000. So they want to give me $100,000? Shit, yeah. Ronald, I'll be having a real nice house down by you. Because there's a whole shitload of houses for 70, 80,000 that are just gorgeous. Brick ranches and all kinds of stuff. Hey, all right, Muju. You take care, buddy. But I was able to walk in there pretty good. You know, I'm walking, and like I say, we walked up to the store today, and Faye had to go to UPS, and then we went to Chipotle's, and she bought me a big burrito with guacamole and steak and sour cream, and they're big. You go there, they got Chipotle's, those things are like this big around. I sucked that thing right up, boy. I was so hungry. I get home from that chemo, and usually when you're there, they'll feed you. They got a woman that walks around with a cart, like you're in a room somewhere, and they'll give you a tray of a hot sandwich or something, like a shit on a shingle, or they'll give you some mashed potatoes and gravy and a hot ham sandwich or something like that, or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or just a bologna sandwich, something to eat. Well, that girl didn't show up today, so I didn't get anything to eat. And I was like, oh man, I'm starving. I got home, I was so damn hungry, I was getting sick feeling. Because they don't want me to fast right now. I usually fast, every month or so. And they were like, no, don't do that. You gotta gain weight. So I got hungry. My stomach was just empty, and boy, as soon as I ate that burrito, I felt better. It was just a pit in my stomach. I was just so hungry. And I don't usually get like that, but I'm so glad they put that Chipotle's in there. I love them damn burritos that they make. They got really good guacamole, and they got the, you put the sour cream in there, and then I had the hot beans. They got two different kinds of beans. They got like a baked bean, and then they got this spicy bean with peppers in it. Well, I had them put that in there, and I don't get the hamburger. I get the steak pieces. And boy, it was good. And that damn thing was absolutely delicious. I don't put rice in it. There's a lot of people put rice, but they give you a big ass burrito. I mean, I got down that last bite and I was full. And then Faye bought me a Coke, a Mexican Coke. No high fructose corn syrup, sugar. So I drank that and had a good burp, and as soon as I had that burp, I felt like $1 million. We walked home. I didn't have any trouble. I thought, oh boy, I'm going to be tired walking home. I didn't have any problem. Hey, Hammer. Yeah, if I can get that. The guy's saying I'm going to get it. He said maybe around September. And I hope so. This trucking around with no money, it sucks, and it's the rent. Right now I'm paying $1,100 here a month, and they're making us move. Well, the next place they want us to move to is $1,650. So we want to get out of here, and they got a Arcadia Apartments that was built in the '60s, and they want $950. Yeah, the Mexican Coke. I read the label. When I picked up the bottle, it says sugar, carbonated water and sugar, and then of course your Coke flavorings. But if you buy the stuff that's made in America, it's all high fructose corn syrup, and I don't want any part of that. I don't, They said that'll make you gain weight, but it makes you gain a bad weight, a bad fat. And they're going to go in and do a test on me where they go underneath the muscles in my stomach, and they want to test the fat because that's where these cells collect, and they want to test the fat. And if there's a problem, they're going to give me some stuff to burn that off before I take the stem cell. They said we got to burn all that off first, otherwise it's going to kill your stem cells. So I said okay, and they had a laid out plan. They gave me a red book. The nurse is going to call Thursday at 2 o'clock and talk to my wife and explain to her what's going to go on, and I'll listen to it again. We'll put it on speakerphone, and she's going to go over the whole thing, exactly how it's going to work. You go in for 4 days and you get a shot that builds up your cells, build them up, and then on the 5th day they're going to put a line in, and then I go into the hospital and they start extracting the T cell for 5 days, and then after 5 days they're going to blast me with a chemo, and they're going to take my immune system down to about 95%, and then watch me for a week, and then they're going to grow these cells and then put my cells back. So they said there's no chance of rejection. They've been doing it for 20 years now, and they haven't lost anyone yet, other than people that came in with like stage 4 leukemia or something and were dying anyway. So that I went ahead and I listened to them. They gave me a sales pitch, and I'll tell you what, they were good salesmen because they sold me on it. I was worried that my body would reject it, and he said, no, that's if you get cells from somebody else. He says, we're giving you back your own cells. We're going to grow them. And I said, there's a difference. I didn't know there was a difference. I was just reading Google and it didn't differentiate between that. He says, no, there will be no rejection. If you take the stem cells from the little baby's umbilical cord, 2 years later you can reject it. Well, guess what happens if you reject it? You got no immune system and you croak. So I was like, no, I ain't going to take the chance on that. And the guy said, no, that's not you. That's a totally different cancer. That's a totally different thing. What we're doing for you is we're giving you your own cells. You can't reject them. They're yours. So, he sold me on it. They had 2 doctors came in, a guy named Dr. Howard, and then the Russian guy that I got at the VA. He works at both hospitals. And that hospital, on the 3rd floor, that's all they do. And they keep you like in isolation. They don't want you getting sick. The nurses are all in suits and all kinds of stuff. So, they're very. And they said, hey, we're going to keep the room real cold. You're going to be cold, and you might get sick. Sick, feeling nauseous and all that, and puke. And I said, well, if we can get me fixed up and buy me another 10 years, I got little babies here at home. My daughter's only 10 years old, and I'd like to see her. I'd like to see her graduate high school and maybe get married. Walk her down the aisle. I might have to do it in my wheel buggy, but what are you going to do? You know what I mean? But I hope the good Lord gives me plenty of time with these little ones. I mean, He gave me these beautiful babies, and I want to spend all my time that I can with them. They're good babies. Mumu's given us some trouble. He's given us a lot of trouble. He's the bad boy. Bad boy, what you gonna do when they come for you? But Maddie and Dorothy, they're just absolutely perfect. And they're all getting great grades in school. Their report cards are just A's, so I'm really happy with them. They're very disciplined in school. They don't cause no trouble. Even Mumu, he's real good in school. And he's reading, and I'll tell you what, he's smart. Some of the questions he comes up and asks me, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. He says, is booty treasure? Because he was reading his book, and the pirate was talking about booty. So he came up to me, good question. He says, does booty mean treasure? He inferred that just from reading it. I said, yeah, that's exactly what it means. He goes, oh, okay. And he went back to reading his pirate book. And he reads it out loud, and I just get a kick out of that. He just turned 7 yesterday. But he doesn't want to be 7 yet because he didn't blow out his candles. So he's not going to be 7 years old until we buy him the candles on payday. I didn't even have the bucks for buying him some candles. We couldn't find them. And he wants 7 candles. He don't want a candle that says 7, one candle that says 7. He wants 7 candles. So we got to find a box of candles somewhere and let him blow them out. Sing him his happy birthday. We always sing happy birthday to you. You live in a zoo. You look like a monkey and you smell like one too. My little monkey guy. But it's pretty warm in here, huh, Faye? Is that heater on? Maybe we should turn that heater off. Because it's warm. I'm starting to get sweaty. I'll have to get up and shut that off in a little bit. But I was out in the garage all day yesterday, and I'm looking forward to getting on that bike. I'm thinking in another week or so I'll be able to ride. The way I'm starting to feel, if I keep going the way I am right now, I'll be riding that motorcycle in a week. And we're hoping we get a carport over at the new place. She says $25 a month. I pay $60 for the garage here. And it's got a garage door opener, and nobody can get in there and get my stuff. But I'd like to take it up to the shop and have them put all the stuff on that I bought. You know, the thermal bob and the center stand and the righteous stump clutch. And I get all that done on it, and then we'll take it over, and that's what I'll go to the store with, and we'll just have to make do like Maddie and I did last year. What we did is we had a milk crate. Maddie was leaning against the milk crate, and then we just went to Walmart, and I filled up one bag to fill up the milk crate, and then we went home, took it home, and then we went back, and then we'd go to Aldi's or something, and we'd fill up a milk crate and go back, and we'd make 5 and 6 trips on the motorbike, and he loves it. And I'm telling you what, guys, when you get old, guys buy Harleys and they buy Hondas and all this stuff. You know what I say? Get one of these damn adventure bikes that got the big suspension. I've got like 12 inches of suspension travel. I was going down Bagley Road, and they resurfaced the road, so where the manholes were, they didn't resurface that. So there's about a 4 or 5 inch drop off. And I'm coming up there doing about 40, 45 miles an hour, and this woman pulls right into the side of me, so there was nothing I could do but hit that manhole. And I thought, oh man, this is going to be bad, right? Couldn't miss it. It happened in the blink of an eye, and guess what? I didn't even feel it. It was like driving a big old Lincoln with an airbag suspension. Just went bloop, 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 right over the bumps. It didn't hurt my back. And the seat on that motorcycle, every motorcycle I ever had previous to this, when I had to change the seat and get a big cushy seat, the seat on this thing, I ain't never changing it. It's got a great seat on it. But I didn't get the S model, the lowered one. I got the 37-inch seat height. And I'll tell you what, when I bought the bike, the dude he had to do service. He had to adjust the handlebars, and he was getting things set up for me, having me out there in the shop. Well, he was about 6'2", and he couldn't get his feet on the ground. And this dude was sitting right in front of his bay, and he gets on the bike on the kickstand, and he starts it up, and he drives it off the kickstand and does a U-turn and drove outside to take it on his test drive to make sure that everything was fine. I was amazed. I went, dude, that was really cool. I couldn't do that. I would fall down. I had to put my feet down. He says, yeah, but your feet can reach the ground. Mine can't. He was a good 3-4 inches off the ground. Even on his tiptoes, he couldn't touch the ground, only on one side. And I said, man, that'd be a hard bike for you. He goes, you don't have to worry about anyone stealing it. They come up to a light and they go to put their feet down, they're going to dump it. So I just love that thing. And I'm way up above the traffic. I can see over all the trucks, even the Ford F-150s. I'm way up there high like those guys. I can see real good. And I got really good, it's got the best mirrors on it too. I mean, most bikes I ever had, I'm looking at my shoulders. Not on this Kawasaki, they're way out there and I can see straight behind me. And the right one has got that, not concave, convex. So it kind of shows you off to the side and in behind your back. That's a nice mirror. Objects are closer than they appear. But I wish they allowed you to split the lanes here. And I still do. I had a cop. There was a cop sitting right in front of me. And I pulled in between the other car, and he rolled his window down. I says, hey, you can't do that. I says, oh, you want me to sit behind you and somebody run up my ass? I said, I ain't driving through the lanes. I'm just pulling in here for safety. Citizen safety. And he just laughed. He said, oh, okay, I got you. I understand. And he didn't do nothing. He just drove away. So, but California, you can split the lanes. You know, you can drive in between the lanes. You just got to watch for these yahoos. They see you coming and they'll open their door on you. That pisses me up. All right, you take care, Mr. Mike. Thank you for sending us that jerky. That was absolutely fantastic. We love that stuff. Mike last year, he sent me some thermals in the winter too. He sent me these thermal things, and I put one on when I went to the VA because we had kind of a chilly day. It was drizzly and rainy. Oh man, I got so damn hot I had to peel it off. Them damn things really hold the heat in. It's real tree, like a Daymart thermal shirt, long sleeve, and they fit. He found ones that fit me because I got real long arms, and it goes all the way down to my knuckles. And even after you wash them, they don't shrink. These things did not shrink. They do get stinky though. If you sweat in them, Oh man, they get stinky. You got to really wash them up good. A little bit of extra soap. We started buying that soap that's they're like little packs. It's not the liquid soap, it's just these little packs, and you throw them in the washing machine. And they make the bubbles. But they still put them in a big plastic jug. All that damn plastic that they can't recycle. If you read the little label on there, they don't recycle any of that plastic. It goes into the ocean or landfill somewhere. And the dolphins eat it and die. They had a big thing on YouTube here last week where all this plastic and this big whale, her baby got caught in all this plastic, beer can tabs and fishing net and wire and everything, and these dudes went down with a knife and cut the little baby whale free, and the mama whale took them all the way back to their boat. It gave them a ride all the way back to the boat and was flapping its tail. It was real happy because the guy saved its baby, saved her little baby. It was drowning. Whales got to breathe air. The poor little thing was drowning, and because the plastic was on him, he couldn't get up to the surface, and she was trying to nudge him up, and then she finally went over to the boat and got those guys. And they came over and they cut him free. They had scuba knives and they cut all the stuff off him. Took him about 10, 15 minutes. And then he got out of the water, and boy, he took a big old breath. And Mama was happy. And she gave him a ride back to their boat. They were on a sailing boat, a yacht. Just dudes out there. And I was like, man, I'm really glad they saved that little whale, because you don't see them too much anymore. That was off the California coast. I forget what kind of whale they said it was. A blue whale. Big. I mean, that guy was sitting on the back of that whale, and he looked like a little, G.I. Joe doll. Just huge. Let me get my Charlie horse in my foot, damn it. That was from all that walking today. You getting Charlie horses, Mommy? Oh, yeah, damn Charlie horse. Shit. I went through, I've been going through today about 6 liters of water. Thirsty sec, they give me the steroid. Hey Steinmetz, how you doing, buddy? Not yet. They're going to open the pool Friday afternoon after school, and then they can swim the 24th. So they're looking forward to it. Muma's got his little scuba gear thing for his birthday, a snorkel and some goggles, and Dorothy's got her bathing suit ready. And I don't know if I'll swim. I don't got no fat on me no more. I'll sink like a damn stone. I'll have to stay in the shallow end. And I sink. I'm not a good swimmer. I was actually on the swim team, and the swim coach said, "Hey, you know something?" He said, "You need to go back and play basketball and football and baseball." I said, "Why?" He goes, "You don't got enough fat on your body." He says, "You're sinking." He goes, "You got the power, but," he says, I got young kids that are just super fat, and he says, they just outswim the hell out of you." He goes, I can't use you. So I didn't make the swim team, so not enough fat on my body. They did a fat test on me. They said I was sitting at about 4.5% fat content, and that's low. That's very, very, very low. But the doctor said that's good though, because you shouldn't have any heart trouble. You don't building that all up. But I'm not one of these believers in that you shouldn't have cholesterol though. Where they give you these pills to knock your cholesterol down. Shit, your brain is what, 75, 80% cholesterol? That's why I truly believe that's why people are getting Alzheimer's. They're killing their cholesterol, and it's making their brains feeble. My dad was taking that Lipitor, and he got dementia, and then I had an aunt that took Lipitor, and 6 months after she started taking Lipitor, she started forgetting everything. So we told her, "Hey, you need to," she's from England. We said, "Hey, you need to quit taking it." She quit taking it. Guess what? She came back. Yeah, she was fine. She was fine after she quit taking it. But them doctors, if you let them, they'll kill you. They'll take you to the edge of death, and they'll keep you there as long as they can get money out of you. As long as your insurance company's paying, they're going to keep you right on the damn fence of death. And I truly believe that. There's not too many doctors I trust. It's like this chemo. I wish I didn't have to take it. But they you get scared. You get scared to death. It's like, what am I going to do? They said if I wouldn't have started the chemo, I'd have been dead in a week. My kidneys would have failed. It's like, gosh, dang, that sucks. They put you in this spot where you have to make a decision. And for a while there, I didn't think that chemo was going to work. But I think it's working now. I told the doctor, man, I'm not feeling good. He says, well, man, I'm poisoning you half to death. You know, he said that was the stuff they used in World War I to kill people, nerve gas. He says, and that's what we're using to kill this. And then there was this one fellow on YouTube. I've never met him, but I've talked to him quite a bit. You know, back and forth, like I talked to Mike and how I talked to Ronald. And I've been talking to him for about 2 years. And right before I got diagnosed with this multiple myeloma, they diagnosed him with it. They said, man, you got multiple myeloma, you're in trouble. Well, his family, you know, he had a supercar, Lamborghini, and his parents were very wealthy. So they sent him to Germany, and they started him on high doses of ivermectin. And then he sent me a message last night saying that he'll be back next week. They cured him. They said that myeloma that goes on your bone, the bone cancer, it's a fungus. And they killed it with ivermectin. Now, they killed it also with the chemo, but they kill all kinds of other stuff with the chemo. But they gave him huge doses of ivermectin for like 3 months, every day. And pills, you know, he was eating like 10 of them damn things 3 times a day, and it killed it. He's coming back. He says, I'm cancer-free, 98% cancer-free. And he'll be coming back. He lives in California, rich guy. And then he said he's going to move to Florida. I said, well, we're thinking of moving to Alabama. You know, I want warm weather. This cold weather's killing me. I just can't take the cold weather no more. I like the snow and all that, but if I get to where I need the cold, I'll stick my head in the freezer. You know, that's good enough for me. My hands get so cold they quit working. You know, when I get cold, and here's what's funny. You can grab a hold of my hands, and everybody says they're warm, that my hands are warm, but when I grab them, it feels like they're ice cold. And from my knuckles out, it hardly works. I can't grab nothing. I can't feel that I'm grabbing something, but then if I grab something real tight, it feels like I'm grabbing a porcupine. It feels like I'm just grabbing 1,000 needles, and I can't get a hold of nothing right now. So, hey, Dennis, how you doing, buddy? Hey, glad to see you there. That's my buddy from Pennsylvania. He just built a real nice shed, and he's got a coal furnace in there. You can have coal in Pennsylvania. You can heat your house with coal there. I had a place I heated with coal for years, and I could heat my house for $40 a winter. You know, because it was back then it was $20 a ton, so I'd get 2.5 tons, $50, and that lasted the whole winter. I learned how to bank it. Before you go to bed on my big coal furnace, I just pushed it all over the side and banked it, and then I left the flue open just a little bit, and that kept the house nice and warm. Get under the blankets, and then in the morning when you wake up, crank that flue open, stir up the coal and throw some more in there, and your thermostat's opening up the front door to let the heat out. That's how warm it gets. It's amazing that a rock will burn. But and it smells, to me, I always love the smell of coal. They say it's bad for the atmosphere and all that, but I'll tell you what, I'd get up in the morning and go for walks with the dog, take the dog out for a poopy walk, and just smell that coal coming out of everybody's chimney. It just, to me, that just smells great. I love that smell. But it does make your houses kind of dirty. So then you get my grandpa at his place. One of his friends came over and they threw some pine logs in there, and he got a chimney fire. Oh man, the flames was coming out of his chimney. We had to get up there and smother it. We smothered it with blankets. I climbed up on the roof and I started jamming blankets down there with a pole, and we smothered it. But then we had to get this English dude came, and a little tiny guy. He was about 60 years old, 65 years old, and this guy was like 4'2", little skitty thing. He had to only weigh about 70 pounds, and he got in that chimney and cleaned it all out with a wire brush. He says, you got creosote all built up in there, and he says, that's what started your fire. And he cleaned it. He charged $250, but he climbed in there and he cleaned that chimney because he had a big old chimney. I would no way, I'd get stuck. But this guy was able to go down in the chimney, and then he had the long poles too. He worked from the bottom and he worked from the top. And he cleaned it out real good, and then we didn't have any more chimney fires. But you can't put pine to burn because it makes the creosote, and it sticks to the brick, and then you get a chimney fire. But I had a steel flue in mine. I put a steel liner in mine when the brick was starting to go bad, and when I put the new furnace in, the big cast iron furnace, the coal furnace, I went ahead and I put a liner in there. I put a double stainless steel liner, and that was my flue, and it had really good vents on it. And that's how I heated for years. And then we got the gas grid heaters. If you want to heat your house for cheap, you can do those little grid heaters. They're like a ceramic, and you got 3 little squares, and you could light 1, 2, or 3. I heated my whole house on them on natural gas for about $35 a month on an 1,800 square foot house, 2-story. Well, 2.5 story, because I had a loft up above the 2nd floor. And I redid that whole house. I put a new bathroom in on where the porch used to be, with a shower and the whole bit. And when I was doing the shower, here's a little trick, something you guys should know. And this is a little tip that I can give you. When I went to buy the shower enclosure, they had ones for $700 that were built solid, real heavy fiberglass, and they got the foam underneath so that when you step on them, they won't crack. And then they got shower enclosures for $70, and they're kind of flimsy. So what I did was, I threw plastic down on the plywood, and I dumped 2 big bags of Saccrete without the stones in it. And then I just went, and I stuck that shower on top of that, and I was standing on concrete. I didn't crack that tub enclosure, and I only paid $70 for it. And we had that bathroom fixed up real nice. I had a torpedo vent to suck all the steam out. I used blue board, and I had a guy plaster it, straight plaster, and I put a skylight in there. I had a skylight, a 2x4 skylight, but I had to open it to 4x4. So we had plenty of light in there. Real nice medicine chest built into the wall. It was a balloon framed house, so I was able to cut the wood out and put the medicine chest recessed into the wall. And then you can jump your razor blades down the wall and that kind of stuff. Then I had a nice little foyer. I tiled it all real nice. And then I did the living room. I got rid of the dining room. I made the kitchen twice as big and the living room twice as big. And we had what we called a country kitchen with a big round table. And that was a great little house. I redid the kitchen. I bought those cheap cabinets that you lock together, but I put real nice door pulls on it. Made it look pretty, and I bought a brand new stove and garbage disposal, stainless sink, and I put a window to the outside. I put a laundry room in the back. And when I left the washer and dryer. I left the fridge and the stove, and I bought a good fridge. And the people who bought it, they trashed it. I put a real nice deck out front. I put a 14x20 deck out front, and I fixed the roof in the back for the upstairs bedroom, because we had off the bedroom, we had this little storage space, and it was always dark in there, and I didn't want to run wiring into there because there was no way to get it through the wall in a balloon framed house. I would have had to drill the timbers, and you couldn't drill this stuff. And I didn't want wires showing or wire mold or anything, so what I did was I just put skylights in there. I put 2 skylights in there. It never leaked. Somebody said, "Oh, don't use skylights, they'll leak." I never had any problem with leakage. We bent the aluminum so that it had a channel for the water to run down. And we had some pretty good storms there, and snow and stuff. And then I put a little wiper, like when it would snow, I could reach up to the thing like that, and it had a hole in the glass, and I could go like this and swipe the snow off of it if I got up quick enough, and that way we had light coming in. And that's where it was like a little storage area over the kitchen and over the laundry room. I brought the whole back of the house out another 12 feet for the laundry room. Then I had a big garden, a 2-acre garden. I just loved it there. Down by the river, I could walk out of my place, and within 200 feet I was at the river fishing, or I could walk up the train tracks, and within 200 feet I was hunting groundhog or deer, or them damn hogs. They got them damn hogs that get loose, and they get all brown, and they get these big tuskers coming out, and you got to shoot them. I mean, those things are nasty. They're not real big. The ones where I lived, they were only maybe 250 pounds, but they're still nasty. They run into you, and they'll knock you off your feet, and they're belligerent. And then a buddy of mine, he went up to the Poconos, and he got an 800-pounder. And you know what? He had a pumpkin ball, And he shot that damn thing right in front of his feet before he killed it. He hit that thing with 2 shots. He had a rifle, and he used his rifle, and then he grabbed the shotgun with the pumpkin ball, and he hit it with that pumpkin ball, and that just wiped the thing out. It just dropped right at his feet, but he weighed it. It was 800 pounds. But if you ever cook one of them, they're miserable. They're absolutely horrible. It's just like turkey. I turkey hunted 1 year. I went out coon hunting, and I seen all these turkeys up in the trees, and I said, oh, tomorrow morning when turkey season starts, I'm going to be right underneath these trees. And all the little jakes jumped out. Then his 26-pounder jumped out, and his beard was dragging on the ground. And he got behind a tree, and as soon as he came out of the tree, I just took his head clean off. And he was trying to get away. So I stood on his back, filled out my tag, and we took him home and cooked him. And I'll tell you what, that was the most miserable damn turkey in the world. I couldn't stand it. So when I go hunting for turkey, I go down to Shop and Save, and I get me a butterball. It's the only turkey I'm going to hunt. Oh, yeah, they tear everything up, Steinmetz. Oh, they tear the cornfields up, and they're like here's the funny thing about animals. Like a raccoon, if he goes into a cornfield, he climbs up a stalk, and he'll knock one stalk down. And he'll eat that corn off of one stalk, and then he'll come back the next day and knock one more stalk. These pigs and groundhogs will knock down 50 of them and take a bite out of each one. And they'll tear up an acre of ground overnight. And it's like, shit, rotten bastards. But the hogs, they root, and they just dig the corn up. And it'll just lay over a half an acre of corn in one night, because they come like 20 of them at a time. They run like deer. They run in these packs, or like dogs, I guess. And I don't think much of them. I think they need to just shoot them and let them rot, as far as I'm concerned. Sure as hell don't want to eat them because they're miserable. I mean, it's a terrible, dry, just not good meat. If you want a ham, you go down and get one of them spiral cut hams with the honey glaze. That's the ham I want. A pinky. I had a buddy that raised pigs. Fed him garbage and stuff from the restaurant. And oh man, he'd cure the hams. He knew how to cure hams. And we got some good hams off of him. My grandfather used to cure hams. But them wild ones, they're miserable. I don't know if you could cure them or not. Wow. Yeah, but it's another hot day today, though. I had to wait for my ride. They picked me up to the VA with another company, and I called up my regular company. I said, I need a ride home. They go, oh, we didn't pick you up. It was this other company. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I had to get a hold of them. No, it's terrible, Steinmetz. We cooked it, and I did get the ham, and I roasted that damn thing for, I don't know, about 10 hours, real slow, 300 degrees, and it got tender. I got to admit, it got tender, but the taste of it was just, it was not good. It was more like you were eating dirt than ham. And it actually had like grit in it, in the meat, like it was dirt. And I shot one, and then after that, I just shot them and left them lay. But like, I like groundhog though. I'll eat the hell out of groundhog. We used to cold pack that when my older kids were little. Oh, it was nothing to go out one day and get 20 groundhog. And I'd skin them, cut them into little chunks, and cold pack them. Put them in the canning jar, put some garlic in there, and a little bit, quarter teaspoon of salt, and cold pack them for 3.5 hours. And then if I got home late from work and the old lady was working and we were tired, we'd heat that groundhog up and then heat up some noodles, then dump the groundhog into the noodles and throw in a quart of sour cream and maybe some corn or some peas and stir it all up. And oh man, we ate the hell out of that. We used to eat that at least twice a week. Because groundhog, you could just get them. I was talking to an old timer down at the VA today, and he said when he was young, they lived off of groundhog. He said a lot of people don't want to eat them, but they're good. Groundhog is a really good meat, real tasty meat. But the liver's no good. Their liver, holy cow, their liver is huge. It's like this big thing like this because they're eating grass all the time. So yeah, the Smithfields are good. Those are real good. And they sell them around here, but man, they want 60, 70 bucks for one. And then my brother, he said I can get hams down here, these Farmer Pete's hams. And we wound up getting one for free because what happened was it was $100 for two of them, so 50 bucks a ham, and it says it's the best ham you could ever eat. So we ate it, and I asked everybody who ate. I said, "Was that the best ham you ever ate?" And they said, that was a really good ham, but it wasn't the best I ever had. Well, guess what? I sent all them letters into the Farmer Pete's, and they sent me two more hams for free. I said, well, they weren't the best ones, so what do? You send me more. You should have gave me my money back. But they were good on their word. Man, I got a Charlie horse in my foot from all the walking today. Damn it. Yelchers. Oh, every one I ever shot, I ate. I hunt stuff. If I'm going to eat it, I'll hunt it. But like I hunted turkey one year, they're miserable. Wild turkey's terrible. Now I hunted grouse. I'll eat the hell out of a grouse, and I ate pheasant too. But what we were doing with the pheasant was like on that thornbirds. You leave the damn things hang for a week until they get kind of nasty, and then you cook them real good. You put them underneath like in the Dutch oven, and you just cook the hell out of them with a little bit of water, and those come out real good. Those are good. And then I call them thunderbirds, but the grouse, I'll eat the hell out of them. They're kind of like a wild chicken. But I won't hunt it. If it doesn't taste good, I'm gonna hunt. Like deer, I hunt deer because I eat it all. I don't waste a thing. I pretty much will take a deer and turn the whole damn thing into hamburger. Pretty much all of it, except for the loins. I had an old timer one time. He says, I'm gonna show you something. You're really gonna like this. Well, we cut the tenderloins off, and they come out like a little vein. And this guy threw them down in a plastic bag, and he dumped Coca-Cola in there. And that Coca-Cola was fizzing, cooking them. He says, take one of them, take a bite. I'm looking at him like, it's not cooked. He goes, yeah, it is. And he picked one out, and he started eating on it. And he looked like he enjoyed it. It's like a piece of beef jerky, but wobbly. And I said, I'm going to try that. And I ate it, and I'm not kidding you. It was good. And ever since then, I take them tenderloins, and I always got a can of Coca-Cola, the Mexican Coca-Cola, and then dump it in there, and it cooks it. It starts bubbling up a whole lot in that plastic bag, and I just love the hell out of that. But like pork chops, I'll get some of the chops, but on a deer, they're small. They're not real big. The biggest deer I ever got was a doe. I got a 200-pound doe one time. But most of the time out in Pennsylvania, them deer are maybe 120 pounds, and you only get maybe, 60, 70 pounds of meat. And so they're all bone. Yeah, I had buffalo. I was out in Missouri, and this guy was raising buffalo. Well, buffalo will tear your fences up. They do not want to be kept in. They'll go right through a barbed wire fence and just tear them up. Well, the sheriff called, and they had a bow hunting season. And they said, hunt it. I'm giving you a tag for this thing. Well, I hit him, and they show in the movies how you hit him with one arrow and they go down. Well, he ran, and this other guy shot him, hit him with the bow right in the neck. So the guy said, look, you got him. It looked like a kill shot because you just took out part of his heart, and I got him in the neck and hit an artery. I'll split him with you. And we made buffalo burgers. He took it down to his guy, and I paid, it was like $35, and they ground the whole thing. No steaks or nothing. Everything was ground in the hamburger, and that was good. And the other meat that I'll hunt, that I like to eat, is bear meat. Oh, man. If I could I got a Pennsylvania black bear, and that is some serious good eating, guys. That's my absolute 100% favorite meat to eat is a bear. They got just the right amount of fat in them. It's a really good and tender. You don't even need a knife. You can cut the meat with a fork against the grain. But yeah, I got one of them in Missouri when my uncle had cancer. I went out to help him out, and because he couldn't get up and couldn't walk or anything. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna help him, keep him clean, And he said, why don't you go take your bow? I brought my bow with me to target practice. Take your bow and go get him. You don't have to sit here with me all day. He was getting around a little bit then, and I hit him, and I hit him right behind the shoulder, and I caught the top end of his heart, cut a little hole in his heart, about this big, when we cut him open. And that other fella, he hit him right by the neck and hit that big main artery. There's a big artery as big as your pinky finger running through there, and he chopped that thing almost clean in half, and down it went. And man, when it hit the ground, you could hear it. And I said, oh shit, somebody got him. And I went over there, and the guy says, look, he says, let's cut him open and see who killed him. If you killed him, you can have him. And I had a hit on the heart, and that guy had a hit on the vein. So he says, hey, how about you and me? We'll split him, because it was, oh shit, a couple 100 pounds of meat. I think I went home with, I think it was 86 pounds or something, a hamburger out of that thing. They're big. People don't realize they're not a little animal. That back shoulder is way up above my head, and I'm 6'8". That thing was big, but they're narrow. They're like a real narrow.
Hello.
There's my handsome buddy,
Hi.
Mr. Curly Top. His hair's getting long, huh? Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. Your hair's getting real long.
I lost my big tooth.
Yep, there's your tooth. You guys notice my hair's getting black? They're giving me the chemo, and a lot of these people are getting chemo. Their hair's falling out. And when I went in for my first chemo, my hair was pure white. It was all white like this here. And now I'm taking the chemo, and it made my hair black. That's some pretty damn expensive hair dye. But they sent me a bill for what I got done so far on the chemo. It was like 69 grand. You know, that's a lot. What happened to my... Oh, there it is. You know what? I learned a trick when you're cooking deer meat. If you make the hamburgers, I don't like to add pork or fat or beef or anything to it. I want to taste the deer. Well, you make the patties, and they'll fall apart. Well, what you do is you put them in a cast iron skillet with water in there, about halfway up on the burger. Put the lid on, and you simmer them. And that like glues them together. And then when the water all goes away, then you dump in a big old spoonful of ghee, and you turn the heat up and brown them. And boy, I'll tell you what, and they'll hold their shape. They hold their shape really good if you do that. And we eat the heck out of deer meat. I always, pretty much, if I got Pennsylvania, you could take 7 deer, and pretty much 6 of the deer I would just grind completely into burger. I didn't want anything else off it, just the loins and tenderloins, and very rarely did a roast, just ground it all up in the hamburger, and I triple grind it. I was getting a guy to do it for me, and then I had a buddy up in Punxsutawney, and he had this big Dayton meat grinder. You could stick your fist in this thing, and he had all brand new knives. It was a butcher shop. He had a butcher shop, and he was getting out of it. He said there's no money in it, and he sold me that for $200. And boy, I'll tell you what, that thing just ground the hell out of that meat. I'd run it through 3 times with the 3 different blades and kind of make it a hamburger mush. That was good. A couple times though, when I made it, I put caraway seeds in there and cayenne and hot Italian stuff to make sausage, and then you use the tubes. You buy them Hanks. They're just intestine, and you don't get the deer intestine. You got to get the cow intestine. Clean them real good. And then I had a sausage stuffer on my grinder, and I'd stuff that, and I'd make them big fat, real big fat things. You had to cook them good. Yeah, I'm still on, buddy. How you doing, Wes? Man, all right. Good to hear from you. I'm glad you made it. I was kind of hanging on here, hoping you'd come in. That's my buddy Wes from the Philippines. He lived not too far from me in Lipa, and he learned to hate it as much as I did. Sometimes I'd go to his house. It was only 6 or 7 kilometers away. It'd take you 2-3 hours to get there. You know, it's just the traffic. The traffic in Lipa was the worst damn traffic in the world. They say Manila's bad. Hell, Manila got nothing on Lipa. And they're building a big, another road next to the main road that's nothing but businesses with all these employees. And now these big dump trucks are pulling in, and to go 1 kilometer, it takes you about an hour. Yeah, buddy, I'm feeling a lot better. I think this last couple of days I hit the turning point. You know, I wasn't feeling better. I even told the doctor, I said, man, I don't think this chemo's working. He says, no, it's working. He says, we got your kidney function up. He says that you're not throwing these broken cells anymore. He says your blood looks good. He goes, everything's looking real good. He says, you're getting better. You just don't know it yet. And the last couple of days, oh man, the sun came out. I was outside and just beautiful. Yesterday I felt pretty good. Today I went for a big walk with my wife. We went to the store. We went to the UPS. She bought me a big burrito, a steak, guacamole, and sour cream burrito with beans, hot beans. Boy, I sucked that thing up, and I had a Mexican Coke. And when you read the label, it didn't say high fructose corn syrup. It said carbonated water and sugar. That's the one I want. Yeah, you're going to be heading back to Nicaragua, back to your place. I hope everything looks as good as when you left. That you sure did do a beautiful job on your farm, buddy. That place is just, you got a palace. I'm telling you. They build the houses there in Nicaragua, kind of like the Philippines, out of block. And Wes bought a place, and he like gutted it and laid it out. I mean, he laid this place out. He was sending me pictures every day. He got a new roof. He put a new kitchen in, bathroom. He got it all painted up real pretty. And just an absolutely gorgeous place. Man, I'd love to live down in a place like that. But I don't speak, Wes speaks Spanish. You go down there, you don't speak Spanish, you're screwed because there's no English down there. So, and his sweetie, she should learn Spanish, but she won't. So, she can't really talk to anybody. Here, like around here, there's not too many Mexicans around here, but I know down south there is. There's quite a bit. And I know on the East Coast, they got quite a few of them staying in hotels for free while they got, they got the homeless veterans living on the street in tents. And they got these illegal border crossers living in a hotel, and they're feeding them 3 squares a day and giving them money and computers and phones. And man, that ain't right. That just ain't right. And it's an army. I watched them crossing the border, and they said, oh, yeah, well, you don't want to separate the mothers from the babies. I never saw a single woman. It was hundreds of 20, 30-year-old guys. It's like an army's invading us. And I think that's what they are. They'll take up arms against us. They had a big riots in New York because they're throwing them out of the hotels, and they're fighting with the homeless vets. Well, you know what? You don't fight with an old Vietnam veteran. I watched one on the bus one day. This guy was about 70 years old. This was on YouTube. And these black guys were causing a stir and pushing old people around. And this guy got up, Vietnam veteran, and he got up and he told them, hey, you guys knocked that off. And they're like, screw you, old man. Boy, he lit into them guys and just beat the crap out of them. 3 of them. Punched them in the face, knocked them down, and threw them off the bus. And then the bus driver jumped in, stopped his bus, and they threw him off the bus and took off. But these guys had knives and everything, and they didn't get nothing off that Vietnam vet. He'd been through it. He lived through it, hand-to-hand combat. And he knew how to do hand-to-hand combat, and they showed him there. He was kicking their ass, these young punk kids. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, they let the enemy army in. I know they do, Wes. That's just crazy. And right now, man, I can't believe the tickets, how much money they want for a ticket to go to the Philippines. One way. It's $1,000. It's just ridiculous. I'm hoping that changes in the next year and the prices go back down. But when she came here with the kids, one way was $2,200 or $2,300. And Hammer helped us out, guys. He really, Hammer, I don't really know you. I'm not sure who you are, but I'll tell you what, I do appreciate the help you gave us. And our friend Gary helped us. And before you know it, we had her tickets. We went to Gary, my buddy Gary in the Philippines. He can get the tickets cheaper there, so he bought them there. I just gave him the debit card and the money you guys sent me, and we got her the tickets, and she's here. She's taking good care of me. Oh, it's just ridiculous right now, Wes. It's just unbelievable how much money they want for a ticket. $1,000. Come on, give me a break. And they pack these damn planes full, and they're not doing the maintenance on them. I watched that Green Dot Aviation and all this stuff where they have the plane crashes, and it's like, all this stupid stuff that happens to these planes because they're not doing the maintenance. One of them, the tail thing goes out because they don't grease it. All they have to do is get in there and grease this thing, and they won't have any problems, but they don't grease it, and then the damn thing gets rusty and breaks, and then the tail goes crazy, and the plane crashes. Does a thing called a hard over, and they crash. And it's like, fix it. They know it's a problem. Fix the damn thing. Yeah, I know. It's all the season. And when you get close to Christmas, the tickets are just ridiculous. But usually it was always March where they were cheap. February, March, tickets were cheap, and now we're getting into summer season. People, why you would want to leave here in the summertime to go to the Philippines? I would think you leave here in the wintertime and go to the Philippines. But these Filipinos, they go back now. It's like, why would you leave heat to go to more heat? You know, get out of the snow. I guess they like the snow though. I know Matty, he made some pretty cool snowmen. He had a lot of fun playing in the snow. I bought him a good Carhartt jacket and some good gloves. And when the snow was on the ground, he was out there all day making snowmen. I was watching him out the window because I couldn't walk.
There won't be many people standing there all night.
Yeah, they get paid. You don't. You're dead meat. They just had that. They just had a plane crash here not too long ago. I think it was Malaysian airline. Damn thing crashed. They took off, and the pilot he was supposed to push the button saying the thing weighed 350,000 pounds, and he pushed 250. So when they got to the end of the runway, it wouldn't lift up because it was too heavy. So they overran the runway, and then when he got the lift, it scraped the tail off. And then when they were going to go in to make a turn to come back to the airport, and they had no pressure in the cabin, and the tail thing wouldn't turn, so they didn't make their full turn, and they wound up crashing into a field and killed 158 people. I think 6 people survived, but 158 people died in that one. Just because the guy pushed the wrong button. And you couldn't tell if the button was pushed. When he pushed the button, if there would have been something to say, okay, this thing's pushed, he would have looked at it again and said, oh, wait, I think I put the wrong weight in there and fixed it. But it didn't say anything. It just was a button that you pushed and you didn't know if it was on or on. That's what the NTSB said. So now they got to make all the buttons, when you push them, it has to say that they're on, no lights. They lost their electrical power, is why there was no light on the switch saying it was on. So, but I watch them. I watch those things, and I don't have any desire to jump on a plane. Give me a boat. I'll take a boat over to the Philippines next time. It might take me a couple of weeks, but yeah, you never know, Ronald. But why I like the Mexican Coke? Because it doesn't have high fructose corn syrup. Oh yeah. They make. Boeing knew in 1992 that this tail thing was a problem. It was making a thing happen called a hardover, where the plane inverts itself and crashes into the ground, and they knew it. These guys knew it. They even went to the NTSB and said they knew it, and they didn't do nothing about it. Nothing. They said, it's only happening to a small percentage. It's cheaper for us to pay, the dead people's families than fix it. It's going to cost us $330,000 to fix each plane, to retrofit each plane, and we maybe will have a crash every couple of years, and it's cost us a couple million. So we're not going to fix it. So they didn't fix it. It's all about the money. These guys, they don't give a damn about you. Your plane crashes, you're dead meat. Too bad. Plenty more where he came from. And people will jump on the next plane and go for a ride. Now they got trouble with the Airbuses. I just seen a thing where one of the pilots was saying these Airbus 340s or something, or 320s, that they're real sluggish. You can't get them up to the speed for rotation, and he says they're having all kinds of trouble. And then Boeing's having trouble. It's like, I don't want to fly no more. I don't want to get in a plane no more. And I don't fit anyway. The best trip I ever had, I was going back to the Philippines last time, and there was a guy standing up by the ticket booth, and he waved at me to come on over, and I'm looking around, and me? He said, yeah, come here. And he seen I was 6'8", so he took my boarding pass and he gave me a first class ticket. And oh man, if you're gonna fly, it was on Qantas Airlines. They had the best food. They gave me a glass of wine. I had myself this like a big Dagwood sandwich, and then I fell asleep in this beautiful recliner with heat, and they gave me blankets, and they had one dude waiting at my beck and call. And when I woke up, he said, hey, you want a beer or something? They give you these little teeny weeny cans of beer. I said, yeah, I'll take a beer. And what else you got to eat? And then I got a porterhouse steak that was as good as any 5-star restaurant you're ever going to eat. You could cut the damn thing with your fork. And I had a baked potato with chives on it, and sour cream, and beans. They had these really nice beans and asparagus. And boy, I'll tell you what, just like you were in the finest restaurant on a plane. and it was a long flight. And then when I got off of that plane, I had to fly the last one, but the ticket was good for business class. And that you sit like in a cubicle with, you got a computer, you can watch your TV on your computer, and they got movies and stuff. And that was kind of cool, but you couldn't lay down. You had to sit. But that was pretty cool.
You can feel everything from that picture.
Yeah, probably. I bet you old Gates is paying him. He's probably paying him not to grease that damn servo. There's a servo in the back of the plane that gets stuck. If you grease it, it doesn't get stuck. But they don't grease it. And it gets rusty, and then it jams. And it shoots the hydraulic, and it makes the rudder go sideways, and then the plane flips over, and they don't have time to fix it. You know, it usually happens right before landing, so they only got 1,000 feet to play with, and by the time they figure out what happened, they're in the ground with all lives lost. And they just had one that they had a fire in there. The engine blew, and it killed the woman. The flight attendant was standing in the back, and it chopped her and threw out the plane. And then there was a fire, and the plane broke into two pieces and crashed. Went down in pieces down in the Indian Ocean. That happened here not too long ago, last year.
The camel left. The crowd expected.
And then you got that Flight 370 from 10 years ago. That thing just disappeared. I think that pilot probably was going to commit suicide, and he just suicided everybody. Hey, super nice. Hey, I'm really glad you're here, and I do, buddy. Man, I feel better. I don't know if you're a girl or a guy, super nice, but I feel way better. You know, the last couple days have been the best days since I've had this. My hip hurts a little bit, but I can walk on it. And my shoulder quit hurting. My hands are still not 100%, but they're getting better also. All that cancer's disappearing, and the way they explained it to me, they're going to do the stem cell. He says basically what we did was we nuked them. We hit them with that chemo, and we nuked them. But he says you got some holdouts that were hunkered down, and he says them stem cells are going to come in there and carpet bomb them. That's the way this Russian guy explained it to me. And I was like, I got that. I said, okay, let's get in there and carpet bomb the shit out of these bastards. Oh, heck with that. Once they start doing that, Wes, and they got these Chinese planes, they're junk. They're just like the Russian planes. I got this one channel now. It's Aviation something from Russia. They got a plane over there that they built, and they built like 27 of them, and every single one of them crashed. Every one of them. And some of them crashed on their first flight. And it's like, damn, they didn't put the proper bearing in. They got the planes in, and they wanted to get them up flying, their first jet, and instead of having 27 bearings, it had 13. So it had like half of the bearings in there, and they overheated, and then the gas got through there and would heat the shaft up and blow the motor. And when it blew the motor, it would take the other motor out, and they were close to the fuselage, and it would blow a big hole in the fuselage, and they lose their pressure, and down they go. And 27 of them they built, and it's on YouTube. Every single one of them crashed from the same thing because they put the wrong bearing in the motors. It's like, you cheap bastards. You know, anything for a buck. You know, they, instead of paying $15 for the bearing, they paid $7. So they saved a few bucks. You know, they saved $7, $8, and they said, that'll do, that'll work. It's just like when they built the Pinto. They could have put a self-sealing tank on that, and you'd never had them accident fires, but they said, oh, that would have cost 43 cents to do that on each unit, so that's too much money. So they didn't do it, and then somebody smashed in the back of your Pinto, and you're a barbecue. You start on fire. Your hair starts on fire, and you're dead meat. All for a couple dollars. They just, life is cheap, guys. Life is cheap. But I'm glad I think I made the turn, guys. I think in this last few days I have turned around. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I saw that. I just saw the last one. I like to watch that dude from Sweden, Mentor Pilot. Boy, that's a great channel. I love that guy. I watch a lot of them. I watch a lot of the cop watches too and stuff. They just beat the hell out of this guy. He was cop watching. He seen some cops pull somebody over, so he pulled out his phone and he started filming it. And the cop come up, punched him right in the face, grabbed his phone, smashed his phone on the ground, pushed him down on the ground, threw him in cuffs, and threw him in the car and said he's resisting. And they hit and they arrested him. And he has to go to court. He said it cost him about $4,000 to get his. They towed his car, and now these cops they had a lady on there, and she didn't use a turn signal. Okay, so what do you do? Cops should just give you your ticket for not using your turn signal, and you go, right? Oh no, 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 no! They drug her out of the car, got her for resisting, and threw her in the back of the car, towed her car, cost her thousands of dollars. She said it was a couple $1,000s to get her car out, and she spent the night in jail because she didn't use her blinker. These cops are just going hog wild, guys. It's us against them, and I can see like them two cops that were sitting eating lunch, and that guy walked up behind them, shot them both in the head, and I can see more of that happening. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I can see more of it happen because people are getting fed up with these guys. They're gangbangers. They're thin blue line gangbangers. They got that blue line in the flag. That's a gang sign, guys. That's like the Crips and the Bloods. And they're nothing but a damn gang, and they hate us. And if you got a gun, I carry a gun everywhere. And in Ohio, by law, you have to tell them you have a gun. And immediately, they had a guy on there. He was a Chicano dude. And they told him to go stand on the grass. So he went over on the grass, and she said, "What's that bulge in there?" He said, "Oh, it's my pistol." And immediately she tackled him and went for his gun. I'm like, "What'd you do that for? He wasn't going to shoot nobody. He told you he had it. That's his protection, and it's illegal. You know, you got constitutional carry now." And this chick went nuts and knocked him to the ground. He's a big fella, and he didn't resist or anything, but of course they all screamed, quit resisting, took his gun off him, beat the crap out of him, threw in a damn car, and said that he pulled the gun on her. And there's no body camera footage that he pulled anything. He just pointed, "I got a gun right here." And that's when she just freaked out. And I personally think there should never be a woman cop. That's the stupidest thing in the world. They had them two lady cops went to the guy's door. They got up on the porch, and he was carrying one of them Walmart cordless phones. And he had that in his hand, and she hollered, "Gun." And out of 17 rounds, she put a bunch of shots into him and killed him. And the other lady, she pulled her gun out, fired 2 magazines. She did 2 mag dumps on the guy and never hit him once. Just shot the apartment all up. You know, they get scared. They're scared of their own shadow, these people. You know, if you're scared, you know what you need to do? You need to get another job. You need to quit being a cop and go do something else, if you ask me. Because if you're that scared of the citizens, you know, go collect garbage. Be a garbage collector. You know, you can make plenty of money, but these cops, they pay them like a couple $100,000, and they get kicked off the force because they shot somebody, and then what happens? They go to another thing. They just had that one over here in Elyria where the cop went up to this 17-year-old kid and just started beating his face in. And then his buddy showed up, and they started kicking him, and they tied him up. They dislocated his shoulder. They broke like 4 ribs on the kid. They broke his orbital socket on his face from kicking him. They threw him in the car and said he was resisting, and it's all on camera. The guy just went up and started wailing on this kid, and he was a good kid. He wasn't no drug dealer, but he was in a brand new car. So a black kid in a brand new car, even though it was his mother's, he's a dealer. So they treated him like the enemy, and you know what the judge gave the cop? 90 days and suspended it. If you'd have done that to somebody in the car, you'd be in jail for the next 10 years for felonious assault. But they let these cops get away with it. They catch them drunk driving all the time. They let them go. "Oh, go sleep it off, buddy. It's okay. No worries." Yeah, I flew on an Airbus one time, and we had a fellow on there. He was sitting up in first class, businessman, all dressed in a real nice suit, and he had a heart attack. And they showed on the back of the seat, they showed us flying over the ocean. This is why I say there's a flat Earth. And we were coming out of Japan straight to LA, right? Or Korea. We were coming out of Korea straight to LA. Well, why did they go all the way up to Alaska? Why did they make a turn and go like twice the distance to drop him off in a hospital in Alaska? You know why? Because they were flying over Alaska. You know, straight point to straight point. And I was looking at that, saying, yeah, that's why I kind of side towards flat Earth, because if it's round like that, why would you fly over all that ocean? And if it's flat, you just go straight line. That's the shortest distance. Just like the flights that go from Africa to South America. Why do they go up through Europe? Why do they go all the way north to Europe? And if you look at a flat Earth map, you can see why. Because they're flying over Europe straight over to South America. It's just crazy. But them flight paths will tell you. There's a guy there. He does flight paths on these trips that they take. He's like a flat Earth guy. And he says, just take a look at it. He says, you don't have to believe what I believe, but take a look at this. Why? He just wants to know why. And they say, oh, yeah, he's crazy. And they get these guys on there. He's some kind of a nut, blah, blah, blah. Ah, baloney. He's showing you something there. Open your eyes and look. And everybody thinks I'm crazy because I do believe there's a flat earth. Read your Bible. You either believe what's in the Bible, all of it, or you don't believe none of it. And it tells you right in there, the four corners of the earth. It's a flat plane. And anytime you see these curves and stuff, if you ask me, that's from the camera lens. I used to have fisheye lens. I could curve the shit on anything. But when you take a regular camera, 35 millimeter with a 50 millimeter lens, that is flat. Picard did that. Picard got up as high as the sun, and it's local. It's not 49 million miles away. That's the biggest pile of bullshit. I don't buy it. But that's what they teach you. And they said, yeah, they went to the moon. I used to love it, the coneheads, because he said, went to the moon, maps, and they're laughing. And the guys didn't go to the moon. They landed that stupid little lander on the moon, and it's made out of tinfoil and duct tape, and lands on this dusty environment, and there's no dust on it. And it's tinfoil. I'm like, give me a break. And then when that thing takes off, a capsule lands in the water. Now, how did it morph from this thing that had no skin on it to a capsule? I don't know. That just seems so stupid to me. I remember watching that when I was a kid, and we were all like, yeah, this ain't right. That ain't right. And now they say they can't go back. They lost the technology. They were using slide rules way back in the 60s and 70s, and now they got these supercomputers, and they can't go back because they lost the technology. What a pile of crap. That's the biggest pile of crap I ever heard, guys. I laugh about it, and some people say I'm crazy, but I believe what I believe. You can believe it too, and if you don't want to, that's fine with me. You can say the earth is round, that's fine. But I ain't buying it. Take a tennis ball with water on it and throw it and see what sticks. Gravity. Nobody can define what gravity is. It's density. It's like somebody asked me what my favorite bird was. My little daughter asked me the other day, what's your favorite bird? You know what I told her? Penguin. It's my favorite bird. He flies through the water with the greatest of ease. And they cook. Them things really can go. You see them orcas going after them, and they'll drive right through their mouth and just shoot right through them like they're playing with them. They're so fast. And they're flying. They got wings and they're flying, and they're just in a denser atmosphere. And when you get down real far in the ocean, there's a heavier water way down. They found that out. They sent one of them diving submersible things down, and they hit this. It was like another lake in the water, and they couldn't get their diving thing down there. The water was so dense. They couldn't get it to break the surface. It just sat on top like it was floating, like it was a life raft. And I was watching that. It was back when Jacques Cousteau was around. It was not, he died, but it was his boy, I think, was doing that. And I was like, wow, check that out. It's density. It's just like the air gets thin when you go up. That Picard guy in 1939 went up in a balloon to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of feet, all the way up to the stratosphere, and he was looking down at the sun. He said, there's the sun right there. He says, that ain't up above, it's right across from me. And if you look at the pictures, you can see it. You can see the sun. It's a hot spot. That's the light God gave us for the daytime, and the moon's the light for nighttime. And it goes in a big circle. And as it gets farther away, sure, it's going to get dark. It's like a flashlight. The farther you get away with a flashlight, the less light you got. See, it goes dark, and you get to a point where you can just you can barely see it. So, but guys, I'm telling you, I'm so glad I hope I don't revert back to being sick again. But they tell me that all my blood work is coming out great. They've got the cancer. He said it's like about 98% gone, and he says we just got to go in and mop up. He says just like on D-Day, you know, they went in there and they shot a bunch of Germans, and then other boats came in and they set a bunch of guys in to mop up, you know, finish them off. And he says that's basically what we're going to do with that stem cell. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. I hope they don't kill me, but it's dangerous. I mean, he came out and said it's not 100%. You know, you can get pneumonia and all kinds of things can go wrong. And anytime you're in the hospital, you can catch a staph infection. I had 2 buddies that caught staph infection, killed them. I had one buddy went in the hospital on Thursday. His blood sugar was a little off, and they didn't want to give him metformin stock. So I'm going to get you in there and just change your diet. Just eat what we give you. We're going to keep you away from the chips and pop and stuff for a couple of days. My buddy Richie, and they stuck him with a needle, gave him a staph infection. We went to the funeral on Saturday. Killed him. You know, the hospital's a dangerous place. Well, buddy, I really couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you, but why wouldn't they say it's flat? Read your Bible. It tells you right in there it's flat. And like I said, here's the deal. I had a conversation with a bunch of people. You either believe everything in there or none of it's true. Period. It was written by the hand of God. He had these men write it. They wrote it down. It's in Genesis, 4 corners of the earth, and it's flat. So by saying it's round, they can get NASA to get all this money. Yeah, we got gravity. We got to have rocket fuel to go up to the moon. Yeah, we went to the moon, and now they're saying they're on Mars now. Well, they got some guy right there. He went out to the desert with his camera for like 2 years, and they're showing this Mars rover, and he just was filming, and he went back and he found the exact place where that rover's driving, the same rocks, the same background, and all they did was put a red tint to it, like it's the red planet. They are not going to Mars. That's the biggest pile of crap. That's a money grab. NASA gets $59 million a day from our tax money. You think they're going to tell you the earth is flat? Give me a break. Not when that kind of money's coming in. I'm telling you the truth. If they said, hey, I'll give you $59 million and you go tell everybody the earth is round, I'm like, hey, man, you damn right it's round. Give me my $59 million every day. Yeah, it's round as a mole. I'll be a trillionaire in no time. Heck. But that's why they're doing it. It's money. It's money. They don't want anyone to believe in God. Because if it's a round earth, there's no God. It's all science. And we came out from this big bang, from the primordial ooze, and we were frogs or some shit like that that turned into. Give me a break. They can't show evolution on any critter. They can't. They show different species. And they say, oh, you know, men were monkeys. I ain't buying that either. I remember when I was in school, I used to hit the teachers on that. They get so mad at me, they kick me out of class. I said, I ain't no damn monkey. We didn't come from a monkey. If they came from a monkey, why do we got monkeys? Why do we got gorillas? Why do we got monkeys? If they evolved into man, why do we got monkeys? Think about it. I mean that's how easy it is. But it's all a big pile of crap. It's the Antichrist. He doesn't want you to believe in God, guys. He doesn't want you to believe that Jesus came and died for us. And the thing that gets me, this is something I just found out in the last year. Snake venom. Okay, when a snake bites you, you know what the anti-venom is? Sheep's blood. Lamb's blood. And guess what? He was a sacrificial lamb. He's the one who kills that. And now they're injecting all this stuff into people. They're changing your DNA and all this stuff. They don't want you to be a human no more. They want you to be part of this AI system. And you got these Gates guys, and you got this, that damn guy that was a Nazi. What's his name? I can't remember his name. He's old, dried up prune looking guy. Now his son's taken over. I can't think of his name right now, but he's a real creep. You know, he's the one funding the Black Lives Matter, millions of dollars into that so they can come smash the cities. And those guys get off scot-free. But then these people go walking around the Capitol, staying within the ropes, looking around because they're letting them in, and these guys are still in jail. Come on, go figure. And you got Pelosi saying, oh, yeah, that's good. They need to be in jail. It was terrible. Klaus Schwab. Yeah, that's one of them. That's Dr. Evil. It's the other one. It's the German guy, the Nazi guy. His face looks like a prune. His eyes look like toilet bowls. He's old as the hills. I don't know. I think he's 250 years old. And those people drink baby's blood and all that shit, adrenochrome, and it makes them look young for a while, and then they get all shitty. I mean, these people are sick. And then they got this Prince Charles. He just had a Soros. That's the one, Pete. That's the one I'm talking about, Soros. And they had the prince over there. He don't look to God. He looks to Satan. You look at that last painting they did of him. There's Satan on there with him. That's who they look up to. They think he's going to win. It's all written. He ain't going to win. It just amazes me that these people, we got a free gift. It's free. People go into the store and they give you a little hot dog on a stick. It's free, and they take it. And now they got this guy on YouTube, and they throw him out of the Walmart all the time. He goes in there, all he asks people, do you believe in Jesus Christ? And I couldn't believe how many people. It's like 90% of people say no. Don't believe in him. I ain't got time for that. And it scares it. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to no bug pies either. I seen they were taking these crickets, and they had these crickets, and they chopped open the back end, and they pulled these big worms out of them. They get parasites too, and they get worms and stuff, and you're eating that. And when you cook them, it doesn't kill the worm. It only kills the grasshopper. And you're eating that. Well, I don't want no worm in me. That's no good, guys. That's terrible. But they want you to eat bugs, and they're putting it in the food now. They give it a funny name, like it's not a bug, but it's a bug. And you don't need to be eating that garbage. Beef. Give me a steak. But, oh no, cow farts are going to make it's going to eat our ozone hole, and carbon, all this. And I see these scientists saying, hey, if our carbon goes down below 2%, we're all dead. Nothing's going to grow. And what is Gates doing? He's buying up all the farmland, poisoning it, not letting anyone farm it. And they're putting all this geophosphate on there, Roundup, and they're poisoning us, guys. And you look at me, I got cancer. They did that. I just filed for that foam, that fire foam. I got in on that class action on there, and they say there's going to be a payout. In 90 days. They said they just had a payout, and I'm on the list for the next one. Hopefully I get it. Because Ronald, I'm going to tell you what, if I get $100,000, tax-free money, I'm on the bus. I'm jumping on a Greyhound bus, and I'm going down to your town down there. What's the name of the town again? Write it down. I always forget. It starts with a D. I got a mental block. And there's a bunch of houses down there for under 100,000 that are nice ranches, and brick ranches for 70, 80, 90,000. Well, they give me 100,000. I'm going to go buy one. And then I got no house bill. All I got to do is pay my heat. I think it's propane down there. I don't know if they got natural gas. Probably have to buy a propane tank for heat. But it doesn't get that cold down there. I think it would be too late. I think it would be too late. But we all get a chance. And I'll tell you what. You look at Rock Hudson. He didn't believe in God. He was totally against it. And he was this gay guy and all that stuff. And one of the nurses, he got born again on his deathbed. An hour before he died. They had a preacher come in. He accepted Jesus. Where did he go? Went to heaven, guys. It's free. All you got to do is ask. You stand in front of the door, and he'll open it for you. And I believe he went to heaven. He lived a terrible life, and just a rotten life. But you know what? I think he's in heaven. And just because, if you ask me, I read the Bible one time, and if you commit one sin, you commit them all through transgression. So in God's eyes, if you're a liar or a murderer, it's the same thing. Yeah, that's what we did when I was young and in school. We said our prayers, our school prayers, and then we said the Pledge of Allegiance, and you did your schoolwork, and there was none of this monkey talk. That was all in like middle school when you started science class. And they had the monkeys on the wall, like, we came from this monkey, and all of a sudden it's a man. And I'm like, give me a break. I told the teacher one day, that's true, then why do we got monkeys? They all should be men. maybe little ones or big gorilla ones, but they should be all men. Oh, it doesn't work that way. We came out of the primordial ooze with the big bang. There was an explosion. Well, where'd all that stuff come from? God says he's the beginning and the end. And we can't wrap our heads around that. We always think that there's a beginning and an end because that's our life. We have a beginning and we have an end. And that's what we know. Well, God knows. So my cable went out again. But yeah, I didn't buy that. I got kicked out of science class, I don't know, 10, 12 times. Because I would stand up against the teacher and say, hey, this ain't right. Yeah, we came from minerals in the rocks. Yeah, right. I just laugh. Well, we are a bunch of minerals is what we are, but God breathed life into us, and there was a spark of life. They say when a little baby's conceived, there's a spark in there. God puts them there. And that's why I hate abortion. You're taking something that God put there, and what people don't realize, they say, oh, it would have been a poor baby anyway, or, well, look at Abraham Lincoln. Look how he grew up, and he became president. You look at some of these people, that black fellow that came up with the plastics. He was a dirt poor cotton farmer. They had nothing. Half the time they couldn't even eat, and he became this big professor at the college. Smart guy, super smart guy, and he came up with how to make peanuts into plastic. Instead of all this plastic that goes in the ocean, it won't biodegrade. No, I truly believe that, Ronald. You have to profess with your mouth. It says right in the Bible, profess with your mouth. He's your guy. He died on the cross for you. And I'll tell you what, I sit back sometimes and I think about that. I don't think I could have done it. He did. But man, the crap that he went through, they beat his skin off. I watched that Mel Gibson movie, and that's pretty much probably how it went. They beat his skin off down to his ribs. They stuck a crown of thorn on him. They nailed him through his wrists, too. They called your wrist your hand back then, because if they nailed you through your hand, that would fall off. Dothan, yeah, that's where I'm going to look at. And my buddy Ronald, he knows where the good neighborhoods are and stuff. And there's a lot of, man, I went down to Zillow, Zillow, the house selling place, and I put in there houses that were 60,000 and under. Oh man, there's hundreds of them. These old timers, they either move in with their kids or they go to a nursing home or they pass away, and these houses sit for years for sale. They'll sit for a year or two. Nobody wants them. Oh, ain't that amazing, Pete? That's pretty freaky. That was really freaky. Yeah, well, you know something? When it comes down to the end, these atheists, they'll turn around, because if you ask me, atheism is just another form of religion. It's a non-belief religion, and I don't, like my dad said, he said, there ain't no atheist in a foxhole. When you're in war, he says, everybody's praying. They're crapping their pants and praying. And he says, everybody craps their pants. Because you got bullets flinging all around and just crazy. I had an uncle that was a medic, and he was on that beach where the Americans went. And man, you could see the air going past his head with these bullets. And he never got hit. Never got a scratch on him, but he was saving guys. Some of them he couldn't save. He just hit him with morphine, eased him out of this world, and he went to the next guy and stopped their blood, and because everybody was getting shot and people were drowning, and he was pulling people out. He was a big fella. He was as tall as me, and he was raw-boned and strong. And oh man, when he passed away, they came and got him, and they were like, wow, he's really clean for somebody who has this. We kept him real clean, and we opened up his drawer in his bedroom. Oh shit, the Purple Hearts and all these medals he had, Silver Star for saving people under fire and stuff. And he never told anybody. Nobody even knew he had them. We found out after he passed away. He had all these damn medals in plaques and all kinds of stuff. Letters from families where he saved their son. Just amazed me. We sat there for about 3 or 4 hours reading through these letters, and he was a stand-up dude, but he wouldn't shoot nobody. He says, I ain't shooting nobody. He says, I'm a conscientious objector. I will not shoot another man. You let me be a medic. And that's what he was. He was a corpsman. And he ran around with the medical bag, and Saved guys. He was a hell of a man. Yeah, that's right, Ronald. We'll see. Everything's going to get known, and we'll find out. After we pass from here, we'll know whether it's flat or round. I'm betting on flat. I am. Sorry. People think I'm nutty. I got some people say, man, you're nuts in your head. Well, you believe what you want to believe. If you want to believe the earth is round, knock yourself out. I don't have a problem with it. Why do you got such a problem with me thinking it's flat, some people? I had one guy tell me, you're a crazy motherfucking nutbag. The earth is round. Okay. So you bought into it. Okay. Big deal. It was flat for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years until the church came in, the Catholic Church. And they said, nope, it's round. Why? I couldn't tell you. I really don't know. But for all them old religions and stuff, the Buddhists and all of them, they all, it was all like that. Audie Murphy was a hell of a dude, Pete. I read his, it was a biography that somebody wrote on him. That was one badass. He was a little dude, but he was badass. And he made it. He lived through it. And them guys that lived through that, they got a whole nother take on life. That was like that Vietnam vet where them 3 young black guys were causing trouble on the bus. And he wasn't having it. And they were picking on little old people. The little old man, little old woman, grabbing her purse and pushing them around. And he got up and said, not while I'm here. And this guy's in his 70s, and he just pounded the crap out of these 3 boys. I thought, man, they're going to kick his ass. No, he knocked them all down and was kicking the crap out of them. And then the bus driver pulled the bus over, and he jumped in, and they grabbed him, and they drug him, and they threw him out the front door of the bus on the ground. These guys are crying like little girls. And I said, boy, he made it. That dude went through some shit, hand-to-hand combat when he was in Vietnam, and he knew how to fight. And then I look at all them, a lot of our World War II vets, they're dying. But I'm meeting guys down at the VA that were in Vietnam. I met an old guy today. He was in Korea. That's how old he is. He was in his 90s. He said, man, he says, he's a believer. He's a big-time believer. He says, man, them Chinese, when they come over the hill, we thought, man, we got this thing won by Christmas. And they were all getting ready to go home, and them Chinese came over that line. And he said, once they crossed the border, he says, oh, shit. And he says, they were kicking our butt. He said, they pushed us all the way back. He says, there's nothing we could do about it. He says, they came in by the hundreds of thousands. And I was like, damn. And he lived through it. He made it. He said, I never got a scratch on me. He said, I had bullets flying all around me, but I never got hit. He said, a lot of his buddies, his brother got killed right next to him. He said his brother was sitting there talking to him. Next thing you know, got hit in the head with a bullet right through his helmet. And I was like, damn, that's got to suck. Your bro, that was his brother. And he says, yeah, I lost my brother in Korea. And this guy was, I think he said he was 97 years old. And he didn't go to Vietnam. He was too old by then. But he was still in the military, though. He was some kind of logistics guy, making sure they got their bullets and all their stuff that they needed for Vietnam and their firearms and stuff. But he was a pretty nice old dude today. Had himself like a little mustache and goatee. Looked kind of British. I thought he was British at first until he started talking, but no, he's just a Southern boy. He was from northern Florida, kind of like on the Georgia border, so he had that Georgian accent. And yeah, hell of a nice fella. I was yakking with him for about an hour this morning. I like to listen to them old timers, and they tell their life experience, and it's like, damn. No, he said it. Super nice. He said it. He came right out and said he's God. He's God the Father. They're a entity. But he begat himself basically, and he sent his only begotten Son down to earth to check out the scene and see how bad we had it, and decided that hey, we're the Gentiles or the new Jews. We're his people. If you accept him. He's kind of ticked at the Jews. They don't believe in him. I know a few Jewish people. They do not. No, Jesus was a nice guy, but he's not real. He was just a prophet. He wasn't the Son of God. And I'm like, I don't know about that. You read the Bible. He was the Son of God. He beat the grave. He rose people from the dead and he beat the grave. And I don't think they made that shit up. There's no way they could have made that up. It went down through history for these thousands of years, couple thousand years. And that book is the same. But they did change something. I know the Catholic Church, they changed thou shalt not murder to thou shalt not kill. And that was a change they made that was wrong. You know, you're not supposed to murder somebody. But killing, no, God started wars all the time. He met the Philistines and all them people. Yeah, he's part of the Trinity. Yeah, he's part God, yeah. God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. No, I haven't seen an interview with God there, Pete. I haven't seen that one yet. I don't think Maurice Safers or any of them guys are going to interview him. I think they're dead now, and they didn't get risen from the dead. So, but I do believe that when Jesus comes back, shit's going to hit the fan because he ain't going to take any more of this shit, and we're going to be out of here. I truly believe us people who believe in him, we're not going to be here no more. You know, they talk about, oh, you know, we're going to go through the tribulation and all that. I don't think so. I think he's going to get us out of here before then. You know, we're not going to go, and some will be caught up in the air, kind of like Logan's Run. I didn't see that, though, the interview with God. I gotta check that out. Hi, handsome. How's my handsome buddy? Can you grab me that water for me? I'm thirsty. This is my 5th liter of water today. Thank you, buddy. You can put some more cold in there if you want to.
Huh?
You can get some more out of the fridge and put some cold in there if you want to. Thanks.
Wait a minute, I'm gonna put it in the fridge.
Yeah, there's cold water in the fridge. I've been drinking just straight distilled water to try to clean this out. And my kidneys are kicking them. You know, they did a urine test and it's kicking all this crap out of my kidneys now. So they're cleaning up. Guy said they'll heal. He says, your kidneys will heal. It's going to take you a year or two, but you know, they're 59% function. And he said, you were down to like 1% function. We were going to put you on dialysis. And he said, I just kept waiting because they were coming back. It went to 2% and it went to 3%. It was just, it was clogged up. And he said, your body started cleaning it. You know, because I was drinking distilled water and not having any problem going, peeing or anything like that. So it's clearing it out. And then I showed him, I said, look, my pee's, you know, got a little bit of brown. I said, it's not blood though. We checked with Hemocult, it's not blood. They said, no, that's just the crap that was in there. You're pissing out all the crap right now, and your function is getting better. And they're giving me calcium and all kinds of stuff. But most of these pills I'm taking are vitamins. You know, and I got to, by the way, I got to take my evening pills. But they're basically what these are right now that I'm taking is calcium. They're giving me that one that Ronald takes for my hands. It's this blue one. This little blue baby right here. This is the one that makes my hands stop hurting. And then these other two, they're nothing but calcium. I'm supposed to take 3 of them a day. So I take them. You know, I'm going with their program. And I'm getting better. But damn, it's getting hot in here. Well, when it comes down to it, I think everybody will believe in them because it's the truth. You know, I'm a buyer in it. Yeah, super nice. You know, you got to look into this stuff. You know, you got to use your own mind and make up your own decision on how you want to be and what you want to believe in. Everybody's got their own way they go. And like me, they say, oh, you know, you got to push everybody into believing this. I ain't pushing anyone to believe. You believe what, whoever, you believe what you want to believe. I just ain't that kind of, I guess, evangelist, you might say. You know, I believe the earth is flat. I believe in Jesus Christ. End of story. Period. You know, so that's my bag. And if that's okay with you, great. If it's not, it's not my problem. You know, you believe anybody can believe whatever they want. It's up to them. Yeah, a lot of the Jews do believe in him, but there's a bunch of them, you know, these Orthodox ones, they don't, no. They said, no, he was nothing but a prophet. Nice guy, blah, 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 but he didn't do all the stuff they said, and the Bible's a big lie. But you look at, they're starting to find out, when they go to these biblical places and they're finding evidence, these archaeologists are finding evidence that, yeah, you look at Sodom and Gomorrah, and that's just nothing but melted glass over there. It got so hot over there with the brimstone, it just melted everything. And I believe he took the place out. And then they got that Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt. And what do they got going out of the town? A big old pillar. The old pillar of salt. Looks like a chick, kind of. I just shake my head. I said, damn. Should have looked back, baby. He said, don't look back. And like the thing that really gets me was when the Ark of the Covenant was falling, and they said, you can't touch it. And it was falling, so this guy grabbed it. He was dead. You better follow the rules, because God don't mess around. But you look at like Judas, I think that guy was so remorsefully killed himself, and it was before Jesus died. So we just had a big conversation whether he went to heaven or not. And you know something? He might have. Because when Jesus came through, he knew him. He knew Jesus was the real deal. Even though he killed himself, you're not really dead. You're somewhere. You just don't I don't believe that you're just done and maybe you're like you're sleeping, but you know something? Maybe he went to Jesus and said, man, I'm really sorry. I know Peter did. Peter denied him 3 times. Peter's there with him. So why wouldn't Judas be there with him too? He did wrong, but Jesus is forgiving. It's history. Constantly how the Lord will change his mind. Yeah, I do believe that when we're done here, we're not done, guys. There can't be an end. Why would we be here if there was going to be an ending? That's just me. I just sit back and think, come on. You're going to be here and then you're just dead and you're just gone? I don't think so. There's has to be more. There has to be more, and I'm told we'll be in heaven walking on streets of gold and eating and living with the Lord, and we'll get new clothes, and we'll be clean. We'll be cleansed of our sins, and I that's what I'm holding on to. That's exactly what I'm holding on to. I got this dang cancer, and I hope the good Lord lets me live a good bit for these little ones. I want to watch them grow, and I hope I'm around for a while. Yeah, I know, Pete. And I have a hard time saying he went to hell. I know he committed suicide, but he committed suicide before Jesus rose from the dead. That's when all the sins were forgiven. So was his sins forgiven? Why not? I was having an argument with somebody, not really an argument, but heated discussion. Why wouldn't he? The covenant wasn't done yet. So yeah, he screwed up. So did Peter. Peter denied him 3 times. Well, that's a slap in the face, ain't it? Well, Judas denied him, and he did. God said, go do what you have to do, and he did. He sold him for 30 pieces of silver, and then he threw it back because he was so remorseful, he couldn't take it, and he hung himself. He couldn't live with the shame because he knew Jesus was God. He was the Son of God. Because he was there with him. He was watching him raise Lazarus from the dead. He's seen all this stuff. He was the money guy, you know what I mean? But he just had a differences of opinion with Jesus, and I don't think he went to hell. I just don't. I think he was able to get saved just like anyone else. You just ask, and I'll bet you, after he was gone, even though he committed suicide, he was sorry, repentant, and Jesus said, hey, don't sweat it. Just don't sweat it. Yeah. It's amazing. Died of a broken heart. And I couldn't have done it, guys. If they said, hey, you know what, you can save the whole world, we're just going to beat your ass, stick your crown of thorns, and we're going to nail you to a cross, and some guy's going to stick you with a spear in your guts. I don't think so. I don't think I'd have had the cojones to do that. Well, you know something? If you start reading the Quran, you can find anomalies in there that just aren't true. There's just too many things. I have a buddy that actually went to school to study that. He's a Christian dude, preacher, but he went to study it to see, and it's just like the Book of Mormon. They find so many things that are wrong in the way it's written. And you know that dude, I know a lot of these Muslims will get really pissed off at you for saying that, but he was basically a pedophile. You know, these guys were just a bunch of sick old tent dwellers, and I don't know. They just want to kill everybody. You know, you look over there, what's happening in Israel right now, and don't think they're innocent either. You know, don't think that this Israel's, because I seen the damn Gaza Strip where they just carpet bombed all these apartments and killed all kinds of people. So, you know, they're pretty nasty too. They ain't taking that shit. They went in there and they made the land nice, and now these people want to come in and just take it. And then they're just going to destroy it because they're camel jockeys. They're not a super nice people. You know, not some of the ones I met. They just had that one in France that they broke him out, killed a bunch of the damn guards that were getting him. It's like, damn. But yeah, Muhammad, I didn't. I read some of the book, and I just couldn't buy it. It just didn't sound right. Wasn't written right. You know, it was written how many years after? 600 years after Jesus died, or 1600 years, something like that. Quite a long time. And a lot of the books of the Bible were written before Jesus and while he was living, like the Gospels. You know, those guys wrote that 50, 60 years after while it was still in their mind. Oh yeah, Pete, Israel I don't sit back and think that they're pure. I really don't. I don't think we should be helping any of them, to be honest with you. I know that they say that's God's chosen people, but I think that's changed. I think we're his chosen people now because we accept him. Yeah, Prophet Schmoffat, I don't. And they all get over there and just kill each other. They've been fighting each other for thousands of years. It's never going to change. They're just going to kill each other. And you know what I say? Why are we bothering them? Why are we sending money over to any of these? It's like this stuff in Ukraine. You know, they're funneling all this money over there, and it's just a laundry. They're funneling money, and they're getting most of it back. And if they would stop giving them money for arms, the war would be over. It had been over a year ago. They just keep pumping that money in, and it's all about money. They don't care if they're getting shot. And they got all these drones now that are dropping hand grenades in tanks and shit. I'm like, damn. Yeah, I like the old David and Goliath. He popped that dude. Goliath was a giant. He popped him right in the forehead with a rock. Damn. But he was pretty good with that slingshot. I had one of them. When I was young, I used to try to practice for that. And you could throw a damn 2-3 pound rock pretty damn far and pretty darn fast and fairly accurate. You know, I had a tire hanging in a tree at about 40 yards, and I could about half the time I could throw a 2-3 pound rock through the hole in the tire from that distance, and it was cooking. It's like an arrow. You can't get out of the way. You can't get out of the way. I mean, that thing's just coming at you a little too fast. By the time you move, you're whacked. That's how fast them things are going. And he killed lions with them. Lions were coming after his sheep, and he popped them and killed them with a big old rock. He was a bad dude, and he didn't want no armor either. He says, go slow him down. And he had a slingshot. And boy, I'll tell you what, I think the good Lord was giving him some serious good aim. And he popped old Goliath and chopped his head off. Ain't that a bummer? And then them Philistines said, hey, let's get the hell out of here. They got this little dude. He kicked the shit out of our giant. Yeah, he was a sheep farmer. I mean, they had thousands of sheep, and these wolves and jackals and lions and tigers and bears, they were coming after to eat them. And he said, no, you're not. I'm gonna toss a 2-3 pound rock at you, and it's blunt force trauma, guys. I mean, you hit anyone in the head with a rock that big, you're gonna knock a hole in their skull, and they ain't gonna be doing so well. So he was really something with his sling. But yeah, that was some story. There's a lot of them good stories in the Bible about stuff like that. Like old Samson, they blinded him, and he went up to the columns. They forgot that his hair was growing, and he pushed the columns and killed them all. I think he even got Delilah too. I think she was in there. You know, that's a heck of a story too. I did see something like the Indians. They all let their hair grow long because they say they can feel. It's actually a sensory, and you can feel through your hair. The Indians always wore their hair long because they could feel somebody behind them. They show that on that. What was that? Oh, I forget that. Dances with Wolves, where the Indian was on his horse and the guy snuck up behind him. I don't think so. I don't think you're going to sneak up behind an Indian. I really don't. But I named my son Geronimo after an Indian. Well, Ronald, you tell them to play it safe, but if you don't really believe, then you don't really believe. You have to truly believe it. Like me, you can't convince me otherwise. I'm sorry, it's too late for me. I believe that there's Jesus Christ, and I don't care who you are, you ain't changed my mind. You just ain't going to do it. But some people, they're not sure yet, and they'll find out. There's going to come, something's going to happen in their life where God's going to draw you into Him, and then you're going to know, and you're going to know Him. I had an uncle that didn't believe in Him his whole life. And then he got sick, he got the shingles, and he got sick, and he turned into a believer, started going to church, went and got baptized. And I don't think you need to get baptized. You just have to profess that you believe in Him. And he did. He stood up there at one of them big Rex Humbard things and said, yep, I believe in Jesus Christ, went up to the front. Of course, they just sprinkled a little water on his head. And do I think he went to heaven with all the bad stuff he did? Yeah, I think he went to heaven too. All your sins are forgiven. It doesn't matter what you do. We think of people that are murderers are worse than somebody who's a liar, but God don't. It's all the same to Him. You've broken a commandment, and one commandment's the same as the other. You commit one, you commit them all through transgression. It says that right in the Bible. And I believe that. And me, I'm not perfect, but I believe in God, and I don't say I'm perfect now, but I'm getting better. A lot of things that I used to think about and things I used to do, I don't do them no more. Yeah, I think I would. I think I'd accept Jesus before I died. That's the deal. Pretty much it comes out and says it right in the Bible. I mean, if you believe the Bible, you just got to look at that and say, okay, I got to profess with my mouth. Well, when you're dead, your mouth don't work. You're just you're not there no more. Your soul leaves. So, I truly believe you can't wait. You can't wait. It's a free gift, and it's fleeting. I mean, you either grab it or you don't. And if you grab it now, you got it. You got it for eternity. That's my belief. Now, like I say, you can believe what you want, but I'd love to see you there. I watch this Nelson Walters guy on there. He's on YouTube. He always says that at the end, and I'll see you there. He's a Bible scholar, and he talks about the red heifers and all the stuff that's going on in Israel. Pretty good. Boy, he's got some good ones. If you watch some of his stuff, there's a guy that'll turn you into a believer. Now, he's an evangelist. He will get you to say, okay, it was like me going in for my stem cell. I didn't want to do it. I read Google, it don't sound good to me. But then when I got in with these doctors, I got in with this nurse Nancy. She's been doing it for 40 years, and for the last 20, they've been using your own stem cells. She said, we ain't lost nobody. She said, the people that died were going to die anyway. They were already in like a stage 4 leukemia, and it was like a Hail Mary shot, just to see if it would help. But it didn't. She said it didn't really help. You got to catch this stuff early, so. Yeah, it's all freedom of choice. You either accept him or you don't. It's up to you. He's not going to beg. He's not going to beg. And if you leave this world and don't accept him, I don't think he's going to take you. You're not going to be written in the book of life. And I sure want my name to be in there. Because I don't want to, I think what hell is this, you just probably stay here. I know they talk about fire and brimstone and all that kind of stuff, but you're living with Satan, and he's going to make you take the mark and do all this kind of crap, and you're going to have to starve. You ain't going to be able to buy or sell nothing. With the way things are going, and if you read Revelation, we're moving into it, guys. I know they said, back in World War II, a lot of people were saying it, but the signs weren't there. Now the signs are coming, and they're coming right and left. The red heifers and the Temple Mount and all that stuff. And the more you look into it, it's just like, damn. He could pop up any time. He's going to be like a thief in the night. All of a sudden, boom, he's going to come in on the clouds, ride on his horse, and he's going to come down and clean house. And you better hope that you go with him. That's all I got to say. Well, you know something? All we can do is talk to him. You know, he's going to believe. Anybody's going to believe what they want to believe. But you know, if we can steer him in that direction, it's never a bad thing. You know, it's what I believe. But like I say, I don't make anyone believe what I believe. I just don't. I'm not that kind of a Christian, I guess. You know, I have talked to a lot of people, and some people come around, but you know, it's up to them. It's free choice. You've got a free choice, just like in the Matrix, I guess. But if he wants to believe, great. We'll see him there. And if he doesn't, and Jesus did die for us, well, we ain't going to see him. He's going to be doing some wailing and getting his teeth gnashed. That don't sound good to me. That don't sound good at all. I don't want my teeth gnashed, and I don't want to be burning and get no rest for eternity. The heck with that. Just heck with that. Get thrown into the pit. And I buy it. You know, you look at a lot of this biblical stuff and things that happen, and these archaeologists are finding out a lot of stuff that happened in the Bible. They're finding evidence that it was true. It's like the flood. You had this guy out in Colorado, and he was talking about the sediment layers, and they said, oh yeah, they said these things came on upon 1,000 years, and he said, no, this was a fast event. It dumped all the silt in this layer right here. This is the flood. He's an old scientist. And he said, this is the flood right here. This layer that was in the canyon, because, you know, the walls are falling down and they're seeing all the layers. And I watched an hour and a half program with this guy, and I'm looking at that going, yeah, this guy, check him out. This dude knows his shit. You know, and it was a flood. The world was flooded, and he gave us a rainbow, and what did Satan do? He said, screw you, I'm going to make our own rainbow. You got your rainbow, I got my rainbow, and it's all these damn weirdos and, you know, lesbies and all that stuff. I don't abide by them too much. You can't hate them. I don't hate them. If I see them, I say hi, I'm nice, but I'm not going to jump into their delusion and say, you're a chick, some dude walking here, and I say, hey, buddy, how you doing? Oh, I'm a girl. Right. Girls don't have wieners. You know, and it's like dressing all in girl clothes and high heels and all. It doesn't even look like a chick. It looks like an ugly dude in girl's clothes. And then when I was down at the VA, there was this young guy. He had to be 23, 24 years old, and he had these monstrous big football shoulders and this little narrow hip, big strong legs, big hands, and an Adam's apple that was sticking out about 3 inches. And he was in like a see-through miniskirt with panties on, walking down in front of me. Oh, gosh, what happened? You know, what happened? Did his parents raise him that bad? Yeah, I know, Ronald. I know that's where I fail a little bit, because I just not into the confrontation on a lot of people. You know, I'm just like, you know, you want to believe, knock yourself out. You don't, that's your business. And that's probably not good. I mean, you do need to lead people to Christ. That's what we're asked to do. Well, you know something, though? Job was a stand-up dude, though. He was a stand-up dude, and he got everything back tenfold. You know, yeah, the life that he had was destroyed just because God was showing him, this is my guy. You ain't going to change him, Satan. And guess what? God was right. And yeah, it was rotten. He lost his family, he got boils, he got all this problem, and then guess what? He got everything back tenfold. He got more land, he got more sheep, he got more wives, more kids, and he lived a long time. And he stuck with God no matter what. He didn't blame him. He did not blame him. I watched a buddy of mine one time, his little baby died. And he was given the eulogy, and he thanked the Lord for giving him the baby for the short time. You know, the gift, you know, of unconditional love from his little baby, and then God took him. And, or something took him. But the dude wasn't blaming God. Some people blame God for everything that goes wrong. I don't buy that. He put us here. Why, he's your father. Why would he do rotten things to you? Yeah, did we get cancer and all that stuff? Well, that's on us. That's from shit we did. Not listening to him and rebelling against him. That's why we get problems. I truly believe that. But Job was a stand-up dude. I mean, his wife was in his ear telling him, you should curse your God and all this stuff. And man, she bit the dust. And he said, no, I will not do that. And another thing that I could have never done, I remember when, Abraham was going to take his son and sacrifice him to the Lord. He was getting ready to sacrifice him, and God said, hey, right at the last minute, he says, no matter that was your favorite baby or not, you were going to do it anyway. So here's a ram. You sacrifice that and you keep your boy. So God can change his mind, but he will test you. He's going to test you. I truly believe that. He's going to, I don't think that it's so free. I don't think that going to heaven is so free. I think that before we die, there's going to be a serious test that we have to pass, before we go there. So that's just my thoughts on the deal. But there's going to be something that comes up to where we're going to have to make a decision, life or death. Like I have a buddy. He's a real strong Christian dude. And I said, well, if you don't believe in this, they're going to chop your head off. And he said, well, I'm going to hold my neck high, make it quick. I hope the sword is sharp, And I'm like, oh, damn. That's a his faith is strong. Yeah, there's definitely a pit. There's definitely a bad place that you can go to. And like I said before, this can't just be the end. When we die, it just can't be over. Well, something, if you're talking to him, there you are. There's your battle right there. If you're talking to him, that means you believe in him. Because you wouldn't be talking to him if you didn't believe in him. So you do believe in him. Okay. Yeah, it's free will, and I don't think that it's going to be, you just profess with your mouth and then you got it. I think before you die, there's going to be some sort of a test. Like me, I got cancer, okay? I'm not cursing God because of this. I'm not. No way. He's given me this life, and I'm happy with every breath I get, because it's all a gift, guys. Every breath you take is a gift. And I thank him every morning. I open my eyes. Thank you for the start of this day, Heavenly Father. And I can look at my little babies and watch them go off to school, and I get hugs from them. I got unconditional love from them babies. They come up and give me big hugs every morning. And that's a gift. And we're his children. And that's what he wants from us. And that's what he should get. Yeah, I'm just talking to guys' faith. But yeah, I'm telling you, somebody who died, he basically jumped on the grenade for us guys. I just watched the dang, it was one of these World War II things where a shell came in, and this able seaman was standing there on the bridge, just a E2 or something, E3, and the captain was there, and this thing was going to blow up, and the guy jumped on it and got blowed up. He was going to die anyway, so he said, hey, I'm going to die, but I'm going to save these guys. Man, when people do stuff like that, that to me, that's a hero. And somebody asked me one time, who's your hero? Is it this football player, or is this basketball? No, you know who my hero is? Jesus Christ. He's my hero. He's the one who died for us. Yeah, it's a test, but I'm not blaming God for it. I got into that damn fire foam, and now I got this problem, and they tell me that I may have another 10 years is about it if everything works. Less if it doesn't, but I'm getting better, and I hope I'm around for a while. Let's see, who is that right now? Search best, super nice. Yeah, don't worry about it, Ronald. Here's the thing. Whenever you're talking to somebody about this, you can't just say, okay, I'm done. You just can't. I mean, he's talking to God already. He talks to him. So there's a belief there. So you can't turn him off. Don't turn anyone off. You know, I'm not the best ones at turning people on, but I don't ever turn anyone off. You know, you just talk to them with love and affection, because we're all brothers and sisters, guy. All of us. You're my brother. He's my brother. Super nice. Nice is what it is. You know, we're all family. So we're all the children of God. So, you know, you treat people like you want to be treated, and don't cut anyone off. You know, you say, "Oh, I told you," and you know, make up your own mind. No, no, no. Be a little bit better on that, and give him some time, because he's got a lot of thinking to do. You know, I'm telling you right now, Super Nice is going to be probably doing some serious thinking after this live is done. You know, I truly believe that, because, you know, here you got a bunch of guys talking to him about Jesus Christ and how we believe and how strong our faith can be. I mean, I don't think my faith is super strong, but stronger than some. And I believe in him just 100%. You can't convince me otherwise. And now we're talking to a guy that it wants to check things out. That's all. He wants to see. You know, he's kind of biding his time, and you know, we just need to bring him over. That's all. And like I say, if he's talking to God already, that's half the battle, guys. He knows he's there. Even Satan knows God's there. All right? Because he's Satan. Of course he knows God. He got cast out of heaven, and he walks the earth. He's not down in some. He's walking the earth.
Well, you're not gonna sleep?
No, it's early yet. It's not that late. It's only 11 o'clock, right? Yeah. 11, 12, something like that. I'm not tired. I slept while I was getting those bags of stuff today they got a big, at the VA, they got these big recliner chairs with heat, and it was nice and warm in there today, and she brought me a heated blanket, and I just kicked that thing back, and it's 2 hours to get them bags of stuff, so I just crashed. I was out for probably about 2.5, 3 hours. I fell asleep. Then this old timer came in, 90-some-year-old guy, and he came in. I was talking to him for a while. I was there for a long time today. And I was talking to him, a Korean war vet. And strong believer in Christ. Super nice guy. It always goes that way. Hey, Dwight, how you doing, man? Yeah, that's for sure. You know, Ronald, he gives us the breath of life, and you know, that's a gift. Every breath you get is a gift. We're nothing but a vapor in this timeline. We're here for just a poof. Because I look at, you know something, my daughter was 35 years old on the 2nd of May. And I just think, man, it was only like the other day. I was holding her in my arms. Little baby popped out, and I grabbed her, and I'm holding her and cleaning her off. And man, 35 years is gone already. Now my little Geronimo, he's 7. We just got him. He's still got that new car smell. You know what I mean? And look how the time flew. I looked in the mirror the other day, and that young man that used to talk to me, he gone. Him and Elvis left the building. Oh, I'm glad you popped in there, Dwight. That's pretty cool. There's no way I can tell people that it's going to come on unless I did one of them 1-minute ones or something, because I don't have the phone to do the camera, and I can't get the iPhone unlocked. So it's not letting me put my videos, my Sony cams. We hooked them up to the computer, and Sony looked at them and said, there's nothing wrong with them. We ran the thing on them. They're fine. It's not the cameras, it's your phone. And there's a virus in the phone. You know, there's a problem in the phone. Somebody hacked my debit card, ran up $300 worth of charges on my debit card. So I got hacked. So I'm not putting any more of my debit cards on the phone. I do have the PayPal, but PayPal, if you have any kind of problem, it like beeps your phone, and then you go look at it and say, hey, wait a minute, I didn't spend that, I didn't do this, and they'll take it off immediately. I had PayPal when I lived in California, and then I let it go in the Philippines, and then I just got it back. And that's a nice thing to have. And the bank lady at the Huntington Bank said, don't use the debit card for eBay no more. That's where the scams are, eBay and Facebook. And just use your PayPal. Transfer the money into PayPal, and then use your PayPal to buy things. Because PayPal, if there's if you say this wasn't my charge, they give you your money back right away. So No, you're not really pushing. Just treat people like you want to be treated. Don't push anybody. You're never gonna bring anyone around by pushing them. It doesn't work because people will shut down. That's something. I was foreman for years on the jobs when I was out in California, and you gotta, sometimes it's like you gotta treat people with kid gloves. Get them on your side, get them working with you, not against you. And I had the best crews when I was out in California. We got more stuff done. Even a lot of the superintendents said, "Man, I can't believe you got that done." I did a big job, and the guy said he wanted 20 guys for 2 months. And I said, "For this?" It was a piping job for swamp coolers and lighting and contactors for the lighting switches. A lot of pipe work. I said, "You don't need no 20 guys. Put me in there this week, and then Thursday or Friday you send me a guy to help me pull the wire. I'll have it done in a week." And he said, "Get out of here." And I started working the first 2 or 3 days. I had 20,000 foot of pipe up. And he came in, he goes, "Man, I can't believe you got this done already." I said, "I got the tools. You shoot the dang things up into the concrete floor up above you, and that locks them in." And then what I did when they were pouring the floor, when I first got there, I put knockers in. They got threaded, and you peel the little stuff off, and you thread your rod, and you hang your racks. And a lot of guys, they'll put their pipes on the bottom of the rack. I'm like, "What are you doing that for?" "Lay them up on top of the rack, and then tie them in when you got all the pipe up there." I was great at bending pipe. I mean, and I did all the transitions into the panel rooms. We'd have 10, 11 panels in some of these panel rooms, and boy, I'll tell you what, everybody who ever looked at my pipework said, "That is absolutely gorgeous." I had a real good boss that taught me how to do it, and he said, "No matter what you do, whether people see it or not, make it neat. Just make it right." And I got really good at it. I got good at bending pipe. I took to it like a duck to water. If you can bend pipe as a high voltage electrician, you got a job as long as you want it. Because that's what you're going to do. You're going to run pipe in industrial and commercial all the time. Oh, I loved my job. I never had a bad day. I couldn't wait to get to work, and I didn't want to go home half the time. I just loved my job, and I'd get more stuff done than 10 guys. I just loved it. And then I got into high voltage, where I was dealing with, I was rated up to 66,000 volts, and I was getting ready to be raised up to 166,000 volts, setting transformers and stuff. But then I wound up going to the Philippines, so I never got my certification for 166,000. That's all the high tension stuff. Yeah, that's the truth. Back when I wore younger man's clothes, I looked in the mirror. There used to be this young guy. I got a picture of me. Let me show you this, guys. I'm going to show you a picture of me back in '95. And I remember I used to talk to this guy. Let me see if I can get my wallet out. I found this picture for the lady down at the VA. Because I'm all old and crunchy now. But this was me back in '95. This is my Indian card. And I don't know if this picture's going to show up real good, but look. That was me. That was me 30 years, was it 95? That's my Indian card, full-blooded Iroquois Indian. But yeah, it's funny how you get old, and time's quick, guys. I mean, look at this. That was only the other day ago. And now I'm old and crusty and all shriveled up. Got cancer and lost 90 pounds, and I got chicken wings. Look, I got chicken wings. And then I got this stupid purple thing on me from lifting weights, and I got chicken wings over there. I'm an old geezer now. What happened? I don't know. That's just what happens. When you're young, it's nice. It's real nice, but you do things you shouldn't ought to do, and then when you get older, you start realizing, man, shouldn't have done that. Yeah, like an Arab, huh? All dried up from the desert heat. I do love the heat, though, guys. I'm telling you, I'd rather be in 118 degrees than 50. I lived up in the high desert up in Victorville. I used to go out to Mojave every weekend. It'd be hot as hell. It didn't bother me. And then the Philippines, everybody, "Oh, it's so hot, it's so hot." It'd go up to 100-some degrees, but I was out in it. It didn't bother me. I love the heat. The hotter, the better, if you ask me. I just love the heat. But go through a lot of water. I was working an underground job for a middle school, and it was all underground. We had to put all kinds of banks of pipe, Schedule 80 PVC pipe, and they were pouring concrete over it. And we had like 100-degree days. I was going through 3.5 gallons of water on my shift, putting that in. And most of the guys, around 11 o'clock, they would go in their trucks, turn the air conditioner on, and stay there till 1 o'clock. And I was out working. I'm like, shit, man, come on out here, guys, let's go. And they couldn't take it. They couldn't take the heat. But me, I love the heat. Yeah, we never know. It's like a thief in the night there, brother. I'm 63 years old, Dwight. I just retired, and I bought my retirement motorcycle, and I can't ride it. I got a KLR 650, and it's like having a Lincoln. You go over bumps, it's like, what bumps? You don't even feel them. That suspension just eats it up. Doesn't hurt my back. It's the most comfortable bike. It's got a great seat on it. I'm sitting up nice and high, and I just love that thing. I had Harleys, I had all these other bikes, but I always had a backache. And now that I got this, my brother Mark talked me into getting the KLR, because he's got one. He's got a bad back, and he drives his every day, winter, summer, everything. And the suspension, I had a XR 650 Honda too that just ate. I bought a used one, and this dude he said, I bought the damn bike for like $6,000 brand new, and he said, I put like $6,000 worth of suspension on it. And that thing, you could hit, oh my, it had like 14 inches of suspension travel, and you could hit the biggest bumps, and the damn thing would do 90. You could get her up to about 90. That was top speed, and you could just cruise through the desert at 90, hitting all these ruts and stuff, and you didn't have to stand up, just stay on the seat. Now the seat on that one sucked though. I had to put a sergeant seat on that bike. The seat was like sitting on a 2x6. Had a terrible seat on it. But then when I bought the KLR, the reason I got it, I was looking at the DR 650, which I had one, and I looked at the XR 650. I had one of them. I had two of those. And then the KLR, I was like, it's got the windscreen. It's nice and high. I'm going to go ahead and buy that. $6,200 out the door for that bike. And my brother bought one. I thought, how much are these? What are they, like 15, 16,000? No, they're like $6,000. And I went down to Huron because they were the only one in northern Ohio that had a green one. I got the Kawasaki green one, and I went down there and I says, hold it for, I'm coming down. I'll wire you the money right now. He said, nah, don't worry, we're not going to sell these. I got 10 of them down here. So I went down there and picked it up, and I got the basic one. But the one I have, he was telling me, he says, Kawasaki don't tell you this, but he said they when they started doing the fuel injection, they did a one squirter into the cylinder. But if you don't buy the anti-locks, you get the two squirter. They're smaller, but you got two squirters going into the jug. And then of course I bought that, it's called a thermal bob. What the Kawasaki's do, my brother says he goes through a quart of oil a week, and he only drives 8 miles a day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6. And he goes through a quart of oil. Well, what happens is they don't have a bypass on the thermostat. So the bike gets up to 195 degrees, and then it just dumps all this cold water from the radiator and it warps the cylinder. So this thermal bob said, we're going to do it like a car, and we're going to put a bypass so you constantly got a little bit of circulation of the water, so you're not dumping cold water into the jug, and it won't burn oil if you do that. And his bike, he's got 270,000 miles on it. He's not having any trouble with it. He replaced the doohickey with the torsion spring one, because that spring stretches out, and then it won't adjust. So what he makes is a torsion bar spring, and he throws the spring they got in there, and he puts the new doohickey in. It's a one piece, and he's got 279,000 on it with no problems. And I've seen people, the reason why they don't warrant them is people don't put miles on these things. They buy one and it sits. Well, this one here, I plan on riding it. As soon as I get up and better, I want to get on it. I love to ride. Yeah. So if you're going to if you want a motorcycle though, get yourself like a dirt bike type. One of the bikes I really loved was that DR 650. I just loved that, but it didn't have the windscreen. I would have had to buy one from J.C. Whitney because I don't want the wind blowing on me. And the Kawasaki, it came with a big fairing on the front. It's a heavy bike though. If you tip it over, you need another guy to help you pick it up. That damn thing's top heavy. But it tracks real nice down the road. I mean, you could take your hands off the handlebars with the throttle lock on there and it'll just track straight down the road. Even when you hit bumps, it just keeps going straight. It's a great bike, but it turns in nice. You know, I haven't had it off-road yet, just street riding. But around here, the roads aren't that good. I took it on some of these back streets going out Columbia Road and out towards the southern part of Ohio, and some of them roads are just, they're gravel, crappy roads. And I was flying down there. I'm doing 65 miles an hour, and it wasn't hurting my back at all. Yeah, I know. I hanged out. I feel bad for my wife. I used to be good looking. Hey, what are you gonna do? There you go. Have yourself a beer. I'd like to have a beer, but I'm taking that Coumadin blood thinner, so the doctor said if you're gonna drink a beer, you can only have like one. And then our friend had a barbecue out here, and he had that Indian Pale Ale that's like a real high percentage alcohol. I drank about a half a can, and I was already feeling it. I said, I think because I was taking the blood thinner, and it was thinning me out a little too much. So I couldn't finish it. And it tasted like it didn't taste like beer. It tasted like a damn Hall's eucalyptus. You know, it had that flavor. It's like, that ain't beer. It's candy. I didn't particularly think much of it. But I tell you what, I'm glad I'm starting to make the turn. I really think that in the last couple of days I'm making the turn and getting better. I think everything, it should go up from here, so I'm pretty happy about that. Well, I like the windshield just because my neck will get sore with all that pressure. And the way that this windshield, I got it all the way up, and it slips it right over top of my head, and I don't get that damn wind noise. I used to have to wear earplugs. And this bike, when I was on the freeway doing like 70 miles an hour, I wasn't getting buffeting in my helmet. You know, so it was putting the wind over the top of my head. I went riding with my brother, and I didn't want to stay on the highway because when you're breaking men, you want to take them up and take them down, you know, get the rings to seat. And I think I'm pretty good at breaking in a bike. Now I got to get that thermo bob on. If my hands start working, I'll do it myself. How many times he needs to slap out of it, or snap out of it, or slap? Oh, bring up something, buddy. Dwight, bring up something else. You want to talk about something? Hey, I'm game. Talk about anything you want to talk about. We had a pretty good conversation before you come in about all kinds of stuff. Hey, I'm Ronald. Talking to our friend, Super Nice. Okay, message for review. Let's see. Somebody, they think it's naughty. See now, bastard. I don't think I've seen that yet. I don't think I've seen that yet. I just wound up getting the cancer and shriveled up. What the hell? What are you gonna do? You know? It's just the way things go. So I ain't gonna sweat it. You know, things are looking up around here. You know, things are turning around, and I'm happy about that. I'm hoping to get on my motorcycle. I got stuff to put on it. Get my hands working again. I got that. I don't know why my hands stopped working. Something on the nerve. Ronald's taking that same pill that I'm taking to help with that. And I quit taking them for about 4 days, and then I started back up on them again, and it's working. You know, they said sometimes you gotta stop for a while and then start taking them again. The nurse told me that. She says then they'll start working. She says you just built up a resistance to it. So I gave it 4 days off, and my hands were killing me. they hurt, and I can't do nothing with them. And then all of a sudden I start taking them again, and they're easing up quite a bit. I can make a fist again, where I couldn't do that before. I couldn't even get my hands together. So, and trying to work on the bike, I'm dropping everything. It's hard to even eat sometimes. But hey, that happens. It's part of life, I guess. What are you gonna do? Do more reading and less talking. Well, this is alive. What am I gonna do? Sit here and not say anything, Dwight? I ain't into that. We just sit here and talk. You want to listen? Great. You don't? You don't gotta stay. You can go somewhere else, listen to somebody else, or talk to somebody else. It's all cool with me. You know, we're just talking about stuff that's going on here, and you know, I hope nobody gets the same thing I got. And if you do, this is what you run into. You know, and they told me down there I go to the VA, and the VA said, you know, we don't cure it, but we put in remission 90% of the people who come in, and I guess I'm in that 90% because I'm getting better. I hope I start gaining some weight. I lost 90 pounds during all this, and I lost it quick within a matter of a couple months, and that's no good. But I got that nice, beautiful new motorcycle. I couldn't even ride it for how long? We got beautiful days. Can't really ride it. I might see if I can get out tomorrow or the next day and just ride around the parking lot and make sure I can get my feet down and wear my helmet. My wife brought my Shoei helmet from the Philippines. I had a HJC, and the wind was just blowing right in my face in the cold weather, so I got the full face one, and she brought that with me. Well, yeah, those Harleys, they just got the torque. We used to go down to Quigley back in the late 70s. Before I went into service, we were down at Quigley's all the time. My brother had the gold Cadillac that was beating everybody for a year down there. He called it the Goldie. It was a 472 Cadillac, all souped up. And that thing was speedy. And then there was a fella came down. They used to bring a Nova down on a trailer with this big supercharger, and he started beating everybody. We had a blast down there. And then the cops would come and everybody would run. I was there when the guy lost control, and he turned sideways and he headed on to this woman in a satellite, pregnant woman, and knocked her all the way over the hill down by the high tension wires. And oh man, the cops shut that dang thing down for about a week. We couldn't go down there, down by the dog pound down on Quigley. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know, Pete. That's what happens. You know what I do whenever I'm working on something? I got a telescopic thing with a big, heavy-duty magnet on the end. And if I drop something, I could shit in there. And then I also got that little one where you push the red plunger, and it's got the four little things that come out and grab. Because I'm always dropping a bolt somewhere down in the frame, or, you know, so you got to get in there and get it. It's all part of doing mechanical work. I took mechanics when I was in high school, and I'm lucky. When it comes to doing brakes or front ends or anything like that, I do it all myself. I don't line them up. I take them to an alignment guy, but most of the work, like U-joints and brakes and, you know, changing the rear end or changing the motor or transmission, I'll do it myself. I rebuilt the transmission one time. My transmission blew in this Chrysler I had, and I called up Amco and they wanted $800. I was like, shit, I don't have $800. I only paid $100 for the car. And I went down to Napa and I said, how much is this rebuild kit for this? And he says, you don't need all the stuff. All you need is the bands. Your bands went bad. And I basically just took it apart and cleaned it, cleaned all the metal shavings out of it, blew it out, rinsed it out with new transmission fluid, got most of the dirt out, and then I put those little band things that go over the planet gears. I put brand new band. I drove that car for a couple of years after that, fixed it. You know, it took me a while. I mean, it took me 2 days because I'd never done it before, but once you tear a transmission apart, it's not wizardry. They're easy to work on. Oh yeah, Dwight. That's always good to have a beer too. I got to be careful with them because of the blood thinner. They're giving me rat poison. If you look up Coumadin is a rat poison. You know, the rats eat it and they bleed to death internally, and so they give it to us. Yeah, feed me some rat poison to thin my blood out. But I had a clot when I first went in, my leg. my left leg was hurting. And they put a scanner. They had like a scanner thing. And she says, there it is. You got a clot right there. And they had to give me some of that clot buster medicine and bust it down, heparin and all kinds of stuff to break it up. She said, because, man, if that hits you in the lung or the heart or something, you're dead meat. Yeah, what the heck? Have a few beers. I doubt I'll be drinking too much beers from here on out. You know, I'd like to, but, you know, got the kids, and the swimming pool's going to open soon, and, you know, we got the bicycles. We got the bike trail right out here, and when we moved to the new apartment, the bike trail's right at the end of the road, so we can jump on the bike trail and ride all around here, right into Berea, and, you know, I bought a tandem off Facebook for $200. This dude was, him and his wife were like tandem racers, and his father and his mother, and they would go on these big long tours. And he had this bike laid out. He's got it shifting real good. It's old, but he's got real good tubeless tires on it. Yeah, he's got tubeless tires on it, and it's a great one. It shifts real good. And I drove it all the way to Strongsville with my boy, and we were coming back from Strongsville. There's a big hill. I went 15 miles, and we were coming down. We're coming down the road. Him and me are pedaling as fast as we could, and some guy pulled up next to me in the car. He goes, "Hey, buddy, you're doing 60." I was like, damn. I'm glad we didn't fall down or had a blowout or something, but we were cooking, you know, down the hill at least. There's a short, about a mile, where it's kind of a pretty good hill, and we were pedaling. And then we came back into Berea, but we did 30 miles that day on the tandem. And my boy, he jumps on it. Now I got him a bike. For his birthday, I bought him a blue bike, and then Moo, he got a bicycle for his birthday, and Dorothy's got a birthday coming up, so I'm going to buy her a bike. So Faye and I'll go on the tandem, and the kids can ride their bike, and we'll jump on the bike trail and go riding. You know, and plus we got fishing poles and a tackle box now, and there's some ponds around here. You know, some of them say you can't fish, but then when you go to the other side, they have little designated areas where you can fish. So catch a bluegill or something. There's something that the kids can catch. I had one of those, that two-stroke 750, and then I had a Water Buffalo. That was a speedy bike, and I had a 900. I had a Kawasaki 900, but it was new when I got it, and I don't know what was the matter with that thing, but from the day I got it, that thing just went through a couple quarts of oil a week. I mean, you couldn't keep oil in it. I was buying the cheapest oil because I was constantly dumping a quart, and it just ate oil. Speedy though. It was way quicker than my Honda 750. That was a speedy bike, but they weren't the best bike for like turning. You know, you get in the corner and you'd be pinching, you'd be puckering your butt. You know, it just was kind of hairy, but they were speedy. There's no doubt that 900, that thing had balls and a half. But that was back when, you know, bikes had 100 horsepower. Now you get bikes that got 140, 150 horsepower. My Fat Bob, I had a Procharger supercharger with nitrous on it. I was just at 8 pounds of boost. I had 250 horsepower, and then when I kicked it up to 20 pounds of boost with the 150 shot of nitrous on it, you know, I was sitting at 400 horsepower, and you can't control it. You know, you can't control it. It's just, you know, you start. You know, I had a wheelie bar on it, and it ran. I used to run that quarter mile. But the two strokes, I'll tell you what, two strokes they got the power right now. I had a couple Suzuki dirt bikes that, you know, they got that power band where you're going in and all of a sudden they just start ripping. But I had an H2 and an H1 Kawasaki back in the day. Not new, I used. You know, guys buy them, and then their wife gets mad at them and says, "You got to get rid of that." And you get it for half of what they paid for it. I had lots of motorcycles. When I lived out in California, I had 8 of them. But my favorite bike I ever had in my entire life was that Buell Ulysses. It had the oil in the swing arm, the fuel was in the frame, the big exhaust can, servo actuated exhaust can was down the bottom, 104 horsepower, a wheelie machine. That was a great bike. That was the most fun bike. And you could throw that thing into a corner and just scrape the crap out of the pegs, and it would not fall down. that thing just tugged the ground, but it had them Pirelli tires, and those things lasted about 2,000 miles, and cords were coming through. My buddy goes, "Hey, look at your tire," and I'm seeing all this metal. So I put Michelin Pilot 2s on it, and those are pretty sticky. But we did a school up there in Arrowhead, and we used to race from the gas station. And I had bought the first Harley I bought a Sportster, and I had them put the 1200 jugs on it. I bought the 883, and they put the 1200 jugs on it, and had for like 1500. So it was a lot cheaper than a 1200, and I had a 5-speed. And I did that run in 17 minutes, which was as fast as the Suzuki guys. You know, they're having to shift a lot. Oh, with the Harley, you don't have to shift a lot. Keep it in one gear and just on and off the gas. But when I got that Buell, I knocked it down to 12 minutes. And it wasn't the first time, because I practiced first. I used to go the Azusa run every morning to work, because these guys have been riding in these twisties their whole life, these hairpin turns and stuff. Not me. I lived in Pennsylvania. And I never was doing the corners, all straightaways there and quarter-mile stuff. So I practiced. And I had an Irish buddy, and he was in a big bad motorcycle wreck. He raced at the Isle of Man when he was young, and you know, not a winner or anything, but at least he went, you know, and he got in a wreck. And he said, "That bike won't let you down." He says, "You can lay that thing over until the peg scrape, and you will not fall." And he was right. That thing gripped the road real good. And that was my absolute favorite motorcycle I ever had, and I wish I had it today. And the power was right there. You'd get into them twisties, put that baby in third gear, and you didn't have to change a gear for nothing. Like them Suzuki guys, they're going up and down 10 gears, you know, constantly shifting to get the power. Not that Ulysses. You just rolled on the throttle and rolled off, you know, and that was your braking and everything. But it had the brakes were way out on the rim, so it had a great front brake. And I'm a trail breaker. I get into a corner, I start trail braking and load that front end up, and boy, when you shoot out of the corner, I got pretty good at the twisties. And then I used to go to track days. I never raced my Buell because I didn't want to dump it, but they had these Suzuki like 550s. They weren't 650s, they were like 555s or something. Little bike, but boy, those things were just quick. All kinds of power. And the dude, when you'd get on one, he'd set the suspension up for your weight, because I was real tall. And he set the suspension up, and I took it for a ride. And he said, "Bring it back here. I'm going to adjust this again. I'll knock a couple seconds off." And I started doing good. I never won or anything like that, but I'd come in second or third, you know. I'm not going to hit nobody, and these guys cut you off and stuff. And it's like, I just wanted to be there and see how far I could lay a bike over without falling down. And I never did dump it at the track. I probably could have took my Buell. And then, of course, I had that Dyna Fat Bob with I had a Pro Charger on it, cast iron jugs, titanium flat top pistons, running 20 pounds of boost on the damn thing. With 150 shot of nitrous, that thing was just speedy. I'd Kaya Booze, "Hey, you want to race?" "No, I'll beat you." It would go bloop, bloop, bloop. I'm doing 150 miles an hour in the quarter mile. Boom, just like that. And then they say, "Yeah, but I passed you at the quarter mile." Well, I'm not racing a quarter mile. You want to race a half a mile, you're going to win. You know, his bike will do 180. Mine was speed limited up to 159, I think. I had a thing in the computer. I had a Thundermax computer that controlled both jugs. So I was feeding the back one a little bit richer fuel to help it cool. And I'd run down to the end of a quarter mile, and then I'd just dump raw fuel into it. I'd get on the laptop, and I'd cut the boost almost completely off down to 2 pounds, and I'd turn the high beams off. That's what fired my nitrous, and I wouldn't go full throttle. And I just dumped fuel in there to cool it off, and by the time I got back to the line, I was ready to run again. You know, if you dump the fuel in there, that draws the heat out of the engine. And the cast iron, you know, you got to cool that down. Yeah, I had to buy a bolstered king and queen seat, because the first time I took it, I had forward controls on it and this regular Harley seat, and I almost went off the back end. I went all the way to the back of the seat and was hanging on for dear life. And then when I cut the power, man, it's just like throwing the brakes on. And I took the dang thing home that weekend, and I put mid controls on it, and I went down and I bought this down at Hacienda Heights. This dude, I said, "Hey, I need you to bolster this seat. I need you to put me something that my butt's going to hit against." And he did. He put a big old piece of metal in there. It was a metal seat pan, and he welded another seat pan on, and then built it up in the back. You couldn't sit on the back side; it was hard as a rock, but It was just for me. I never took anybody for a ride on that thing. That was my bike. I took the rear pegs off and everything. I had a 4-inch longer swing arm, and I extended the front end 6 inches. And I had a wheelie bar that I could fold up. And I had progressive shocks on it, raised it way up in the air. And when I get to the track, I could lower the wheelie bar down and bolt it into the shock. And that thing was a screamer. It was nothing to have a 9-second run on that thing. That thing was just so damn speedy. I had a little Japanese girl down there. She weighed about 90 pounds. And she was running a one-lung Kawasaki 750. And she's running like 10s on this thing. I'm like, man, this chick is fast. And a little bike. And I says, honey, would you ride mine and let's see if we can get a time? And she rode that thing in a quarter mile, and it did it 8.3. But me, it's 300 pounds, 290, 300 pounds. So it was lugging my weight around. Well, this chick didn't weigh nothing. Little Japanese girl, and then I had drag slicks on it. It said Dunlop qualifier on the side. I got them out of Japan. Damn things were $1,000 a piece. And I went through 4 of them in 2 years. Those things would ripple in the side. The tread doesn't go out on them because there's no tread. It's like a slick, but the sidewalls go. And when the sidewalls go, you got to take the tire off and change it. But that thing really, that bike shouldn't get. That was the speediest bike I ever had, and it was actually scary. And my brother had one of them V-Maxes, and that was speedy. Now he's got that big Yamaha V-Twin 1900. Boy, that's a nice machine. A super nice machine. And he buzzes that around. We went on some rides and stuff, and took some pretty nice rides last summer with the boy and stuff. And I'd like to do it again this year. I hope I can. I don't race around anymore though. I just kind of, I just putt now. Yeah, them guys that race all the time, there's something. I went to the track. We used to have a dragway 42, and they'd get them damn alcohol burning Harleys and stuff, and these guys are running like 6.5 seconds in a quarter mile. They got this big tire, looks like a damn tractor trailer tire on the back, and man, them things just hook up and go. I mean, I used to be so amazed at watching them guys. And then I went down there one time. The guy came on a jet bike. He fired up rockets. It wasn't jet, it was rocket bike. And man, that guy took off. Now he only ran, I think, like a 9-second or something, but it looked cool because he was throwing flames out the back of this thing 10 feet. That was a hell of a machine. I wouldn't have got on it. Your rocket tank blows up. Bye-bye, baby. But the nitrous, when that thing kicks in, I had mine hooked up to the high beam. If I put my high beam on, that armed my nitrous tank. I had a 150 shot, and I had it hidden where you couldn't see it. I had everything in my bags. I had the laptop in the bag, all hooked up through the Thundermax computer. And then when I hit full throttle, as soon as that thing hit full throttle, it would fire that nitrous, and buddy, you better hold on. I mean, it just was like super burst of power. And I never blew the motor. I blew an oil line one time, and that's because I didn't put Loctite on it. And I Loctited it up and put the oil line back on. Got oil all over my leg on the track one night. And of course, it got on the tire and everything. I had to get home and clean all that off. And I switched it over to a chain. I got rid of the belts on it. I put a chain on there and sprockets because the belt wasn't holding up. It was just chewing the belt up to nothing. Yeah, Dragway 42. We used to go down there when I was a kid all the time. Watch some guys race. You can't be in an NHR one because it goes up the hill a little bit. So they won't race the NHRA there unless they fixed it. But yeah, we were always going over there when I was a kid. Plus we were in the same place as you, down at Quigley. We were always down, every weekend we were down at Quigley. One time where cops came, and my brother's in his Cadillac, and we raced into where the dog pound was. And it was dark. He turned his lights out so the cops wouldn't see him. And he had a switch so his brake lights wouldn't work. He was using his parking brake, I guess. And there was 4 posts around the fire hydrant, and we went up on top of this fire hydrant and got locked on there. And we just ducked down, and the cops drove right past us. They said, oh, well, there's just a car sitting there. And then we had to come the next day, and my buddy came with his truck, and we had to hoist it up over these posts because they didn't bend. They just dropped down in the motor bay, and And he had to come the next day and get us out of there. But the cops was looking for that gold Cadillac. Boy, that thing was quick. And it was only like 11, 12-second machine. All them guys say, oh, I got this Trans Am, it'll do 10 seconds. Bull crap. Them cars back in the day, if you ran a 14-second and a quarter mile, unless it was one of them Chryslers with the Hemis, they souped up. Yeah, those guys were running 10s in a quarter mile. I used to watch the times on them. There were very few machines that went down in the 9s and the 8s. It just didn't happen. Most of them couldn't hook up, until they started running them fuelers, where they got all the weight set on them. Those things grip and go really good. But we were down at Dragway 42 all the time. They had a lot of them. They'd have bike nights, and then they'd have one time they had a bunch of them little short super modifieds racing. Those things have no flywheel. Those things go from 0 to 7 grand like peep, as soon as you press the gas. And if you and there's no torque inverter, they go straight to the pumpkin. Those things, when you open up the petcock, boom, and you hit the gas, it's like boop. I raced late model when I was in Wisconsin, and then I ran the super modifieds, and I blew up a couple engines on them super modifieds because they're scary. I mean, those things just rip, and they got a short wheelbase, and they want to flip and do all kinds of crazy stuff in the corners. But I had a guy that was sponsoring me, and I had a Camaro. It was his car, and I crashed that thing so many times, and every week he said, don't worry about it, we'll fix it. He sold tires, because you would put the bigger tires, because it was oval track, and you put the bigger tires on one side and shorter ones on the other, and he was the recap tire salesman. And every weekend there was somebody racing in the summer, dirt track. Late model, they called it. And I had a lot of fun doing that. I crashed a lot. And me, I was one of them guys, if somebody got in front of me, I'd bounce them. I'd pit maneuvers and knock people out. Oh, they used to get so pissed at me. But then that week, we'd come pull the sheet metal off and bang some new stuff on there, throw a little bit of paint, and throw the numbers back on, and race again next week. He didn't care. He didn't care I smashed it up. It's all tube framed. It's a tube framed vehicle. Quigley Avenue, yep. That was a lot of fun down there, though. Yeah, Quigley racetrack. We used to start right over by the tracks and take off from them tracks and go. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then it's nice at the end because you got kind of an uphill going up into the neighborhood, so you don't have to worry if your brakes aren't the best. But we saw an accident. One time somebody pulled out coming down the hill, and the guy was racing and just barnsided him. Boom. That was a heck of a mess. That was that big Chrysler. The guy had a big 442, not 442, but a Super B with the wing on it. Nice car, boy. The thing was beautiful. And he was in the right-hand lane, and this big truck pulled out, and he couldn't stop. That guy couldn't stop, and boom. He plowed right into the wheels, the second set of wheels on the back of the cab, and just knocked the whole rear end out of the truck, and the whole front of that car was gone. They took him out in a helicopter. They had to land the helicopter over by the dog pound, and the ambulance took him over the helicopter, and they took him somewhere. I think they took him to Metro or something, because he was pretty banged up. And he was racing with his girlfriend in there, and she got messed up. But that car sat there for about 2 weeks on by the train tracks, just completely smashed. And I said, I can't believe somebody didn't take the parts. But we had one guy, he was racing title for title. It was a Mustang against a Camaro. And then when he got back, the Mustang lost. And he went up to the line and said, I want to do 2 out of 3. And the guy said, hey, one race, title for title, give me the title of your car. That's my car now. And the guy reneged. And the Quigley rats jumped over that thing. They smashed, while he was in it, they smashed his roof down. They smashed his windows, stabbed his tires. I mean, they wrecked that car, the Quigley rats. And I said, my goodness, you don't renege on a race down there. Them guys were pretty serious. But we had fun. We were there every weekend, just about every weekend. If we weren't there, we were Dragway 42. Yep, we're talking drag racing at Quigley. That was them were the days. That was a long time ago. I don't think anybody races down at Quigley anymore. I went through there here a few weeks ago on the bike just to check it out. I don't see any burn marks or anything, so they're not racing down there. I think the police got that shut down now, but that was when I was young. Man, everybody was down there on the weekend. That's where everybody went. You know, all my buddies, because everybody had a car. We were all auto mechanics and souping up cars. I had an Opel Manta. I used to race that. That was a great car. It would do about 15 in the quarter mile. Little four-banger in it. But that was kind of a cool car. But we raced it. It would burn rubber. That was a neat car. I didn't fit in it. It was kind of small, but it was an Opel Manta. Great little car. And then I had I got off a guy from school. I got a '69 Camaro that had it had the old like a 454 in it, and that thing wasn't fast either. It was just a big lump in there. I think it was 200 and some horsepower motor, and it looked fast, but nah, it wasn't fast. And then it didn't want to steer either because it was a cast iron block, big Chevy 454 motor in it, all cast iron. I think it was a Buick motor, all cast iron, just too heavy for that front end on that car. And those are unibody. And then I had a Nova. I had a '72 Nova for a while with the 307 in it. That was speedy. That car would run 11. I could run 11.5 in that one. Two-speed transmission in it, and that was a pretty speedy car. You came off the line real good on that car. It had a stall converter in it. So basically, what you did is you just put it about halfway to the floor, and then when it was time to go, you pushed it all the way down. Then that torque converter would bang in, and that thing would just take off. But it was only 11 and a half seconds. It wasn't the speediest car. I raced a guy in one of them 4.6 Trans Ams. He said, "Yeah, I'll beat that thing." And I said, "Ah, shit, you're lucky if that thing runs 16 in the quarter. Those weren't fast." Yeah. No, I don't remember the Cloverleaf Speedway. I don't recall that at all. I know we used to go out to Nelson Ledges. I had my auto mechanics instructor. He had a sports car, and he used to race out in Nelson Ledges. I never raced there, but we'd go watch him. And he had one of them. He had a Triumph TR7 that he raced, and then he also had what the hell was that other car he had? It was a Toyota MR2 or something. And he had a 6-cylinder in that one. And boy, he could just make them corners. I said, shit, I'm surprised that thing don't flip over. But the motor was in the back on the one. And he could really drive. He was a hippie dude. Long hair, beard, tall, skinny dude. He was our auto mechanics teacher. And he liked to soup them up. He was really good at souping cars up, and I hung with him quite a bit. He was a pretty cool guy. Mr. DeLeo. Never forget that guy. Yeah, he died a few years back, and his cars went up. I saw him on Facebook. His wife put his 2 cars up for sale. He was a big guy, but those are little cars. I don't care what anyone says. The Toyota one, you could just barely fit in them. But that TR7, that thing was tiny. And his wasn't the best handling one because it was the convertible, had a drop top. And that thing just was, you could just feel that thing flexing, had an aluminum motor in it. And I didn't think it was that quick, but you could corner pretty good in it. Lightweight. My brother had a Spitfire, and I remember he was coming up to my mother's street, and he's doing about 45 miles an hour, and it had a synchronized transmission. He dropped that thing into first gear, snapped the clutch, and cut the wheel, pulled right in her driveway at 45 and stopped. I was like, damn. But what happened to him was it had bias plies on it, so it would slide a little bit. And then he put radials on it. And when he put the radials on, he tried that again, and it flipped it over. Yeah, I slept most of the day today at the VA. Yeah, some of them cars are pretty speedy. Yeah, I guess I'm on Filipino time. A lot of my buddies right now are awake in the Philippines. It's daytime. It's noon there, I guess, or I don't even know what time it is right now. I can't see the clock. But 12, 1 o'clock, something like that. I stay up a lot of nights till 1 or 2 o'clock. I talk to you guys. I ain't got a whole lot to do, and I'm starting to get around a little bit better though. But for a while there, I wasn't getting around, so I'm kind of stuck in this hospital bed. I like it because I can raise it up and fall off it. But for a while there, I couldn't even walk to the bathroom. I'd have to have that little rollinator and try to get me in the bathroom. Walker, one of them four-legged walkers. It's like, man, this thing sucks. This really sucks. But like I say, it's getting better. I did a pretty big walk today. Real good sized walk. Picked up some meat for the sinigang and got me a burrito. So, and it was a pretty good walk. I was able to do it pretty quickly too. Yesterday and today were the first day I was able to walk so far without playing out. I walked up to the store last week and shit, I made it about 1/10 of a mile and I couldn't go no more. I was played out. But what happened was they were giving me these steroids, and then they give me this massive dose, and then your body stops making them, so you get all fried. So instead of doing that, after he gave me the steroids today, he says, I want you to take 2 steroids in the morning, and then 2 the next day, and then 1 the next day, and the day after that. And once I did that, that kind of made it so I didn't have that big drop. So it wasn't too bad. But I gotta go to the little boy's room here. Somebody was teasing me before. They said, oh yeah, the guy, he goes alive and he takes away his, well, when you got to go, you got to go. That's all there is to it. I'm starting on my 6th liter of water today to get these kidneys cleaned out. They said don't do much more than that, but the kidney function is doing really good now. They're coming around. I seen the kidney doctor, and he says, no, you're getting better, buddy. And we just had a friend of ours. He was getting not chemo, but what do they call that? Dialysis. And his wife was giving it to him at his house. He had one of them lines put in, and right around Christmas time, he passed away. His kidneys failed, and you don't play around with the kidneys. If your kidneys quit, you're done for. And 45 years old, that young kid died. I was like, damn, poor kid, But he was, from what I hear, he was like a doper or something, and he burned his kidneys out. You can't do dope and expect all your organs to do good. It's just not the thing to do. Oh, Brook Park and Granger, I know where that is. My brother used to go down to when they had the fair, and he would get a big Cadillac or something like that, and he would do the demo derbies. And a lot of them guys would come in with them old Fords or station wagons or something, the back ends fold up, and he had them Cadillacs, and them frames on them things was just monsters. And he did pretty good. He won a few of them. He smashed up that one Cadillac. He had a green one, and he took it to demo derby. It was beautiful. It's a beautiful car. And they took the windows out, chained the doors. Yeah, I'm going to race it to demo derby. And I'm like, man, that's a nice car. Don't do that. Nah, let's see how good it does. And he won, and he drove it home. That thing was all smashed up, and he drove it home. Oh, man. Yeah, the prostrate's doing pretty good. Yeah, they got, I was just telling my one buddy, he's having prostate problems, and I told him about that Saul Palmetto. I guess he's taking it, it's working. Bisquick pills, yeah. Yeah, that straightened itself out. I had a little bit of problem with going, but I think it was more the kidneys. I had to, when this, what the guy explained to me was, he said, you're putting out these cells that are fighting this cancer. And he says, what's happening is you're supposed to be putting out like 40 of these things per milliliter. And he says, you're putting out like 400,000 and they're broken. They're not working. And he says, your blood's taking them and running them through your kidneys. And he said, It's clogging them up. It's clogging your kidneys up. I was just hours away from dialysis for about a week there because my kidney function went down to nothing. I didn't know it, but he says, "Man, you're in bad shape." And then they started coming back. They started giving me calcium and stuff to clean the kidneys out. I forget the name of that medicine. And they say now my kidney function's about 59, and they're coming back. But that'll kill you. Your kidneys go on you. You're done for. You're absolutely 100% done for. And I don't think I'd be good for a transplant. They don't want to transplant to anybody who's got cancer. So, and I don't know anybody who'd give me one anyway. But that kidney doctor, he was a Arabian guy, and he cleaned them up. Yeah, he's up from around here, Ronald. He's I guess a Cleveland boy because he knows all the places I used to go. There's a couple guys. There's another fellow out here that Filipino guy that lives here, and there's another buddy of mine I talked to the other day. He lives in Medina, Honda salesman. There's a few people that I knew, from talking to in the Philippines, and they live close around here. And Bongo Bob, he doesn't live far. He was saying one day he'd like to come visit, and I said, "Yeah, man, I'd love to meet you." I talked to these guys for years. Like Ronald, I've been talking to Ronald, I don't know, 3-4 years now. I talked to Sean for about 3 or 4 years. I haven't met you, but, and then I got my buddy Russell. I've been talking to him for a few years. He's going to come visit. He's selling his house, and he said before he goes to the Philippines, he wants to stop out here and visit with us. And I said, "Yeah, man, come on down. I'd like to meet the guy. I've been talking to him. He's a hell of a nice fellow." You start talking to you folks out here in YouTube land, and most of you guys are pretty nice people. You want to spend some time and say how you doing and stuff, and meet. Yep, Cleveland, Ohio. I was born in Berea, at the Berea Hospital, and I'm back in Berea again. I left. I went to the Philippines for 11 years. Stayed there. I was in Pennsylvania for 20. And now I'm back, and I'm living in the same apartment that I lived in when I got out of the military. I live in, I'm in Tower in the Park, and I think, Dwight, you're still here in Cleveland, right? Or are you did you go to the Philippines? I don't know. But yeah, I just didn't, well, we didn't have a really cold winter, but I still didn't like the cold. I want to get down south, and, cold weather for me will be 50. That'll be about as cold as I want to get. I don't mind the heat. Hottest place I ever lived, though. I was up in Victorville, up close to the Mojave Desert, and was there every weekend. Coyote hunting or jackrabbit hunting, something like that. We had a hunting club where we hunted jackrabbits with our 9mm. Bust cap hunting club, we called it. And bring the dogs and chase jackrabbits. They're fast. You hit a running jackrabbit with your 9, you're a good shot. And I had a couple of Filipino guy and another fellow that I hunted with. And, well, these guys were good shots. I mean, them rabbits would run, they'd get them. If they pulled the trigger, they pretty much got them. But we had a lot of fun up there, and I just never minded the heat. By noontime, those guys would be in a truck with the air conditioner on. I'm still out hunting. I didn't need that. Dogs I would put in, because they get overheated. So we put them in the bed, and we had a cap on the back of the bed. They'd get in there. We had a fan in there for them, a 12-volt fan, and they'd open up the sliding window so the air conditioner would get back there, because them dogs would overheat. My buddy had some bird dogs, but they chased the rabbits too. So, but the hottest place I ever lived, I lived for one summer, was in Dallas. Man, that was the hottest damn place. I remember we went down to this lake in the morning, and it was up to the dock. And by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it was all the way down the bottom of the pier. And when you got in the water, it was hot. Yeah, when we first came here, we were in Strongsville at that motel across from the Walmart. That she was giving it to us for $200 a week. And we stayed there until we got this apartment here, because this apartment wasn't ready. Now we're going to move over to Arcadia and Brook Park. That's a lot cheaper. I need, when I was in the Philippines, we had gobs of money, and now that I'm here, we're broke all the time. So that sucks. You know, just everything's so expensive. Rent's $1,100 here, and they want us to move to a 3-bedroom that's $1,650, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. You can forget that. You know, if I can get my rating up at the VA, I still wouldn't do it. That's too much money for a 3-bedroom. And the place is nice. Don't get me wrong. I think this is a great apartment building. It's managed well. The people are real nice, but I'll go over to Arcadia. That girl over there seems really nice. So, yeah, guys, I lived there for 11 years in the Philippines, and I'm glad I'm home. I'm pretty happy that I'm back in the States. You know, and the kids love it. They like it here. They're doing really good in school. So that's the battle right there. That's half the battle from having good kids. You know, if they do well in school and they're happy. You know, and I want to see them. You know, I'd like to teach them how to drive. You know, it ain't gonna be long. Dorothy's she's gonna be 11 in August, and it ain't long. She's gonna be wanting a car, and then won't be long after that the boys. Maddie's 9, so we're only looking about 6 more years, and he's gonna need a car. And I started getting Social Security. I started collecting that this year. But I can get, from what I'm understanding, I did all that fire stuff when I was in boot camp. And after, you know, as a boiler technician, I ran the fire hoses with that foam. And I applied for it. And then I went ahead and got a lawyer. And the lawyer said, you know, we can also get your disability rating through the VA. You know, because he said you can't go, right? I said, no, I can't go. As of now, no, I can't. He says, we're going to get you in there, and he says, we're going to get your rating kicked up probably at least 80%, and he says, you'll get money for that too, so that should help us out. But all this stuff is down the future, you know. And we got to move this month. I turned in the paperwork. They're going to give us, if none of this goes through, I can get a no-interest housing loan up to $60,000 through the VA, and they're also going to help us with the move. You know, they'll help with the deposit's only $300, and they'll help with getting the U-Haul and stuff, and help you with some workers to move, because I can't pick anything up. I couldn't beat my way out of a paper bag right now. You know, just lost all the strength, lost all my muscle strength, and shit, I went to go lift 70 pounds, and I could barely do it the other day. I had to put 50 pounds on the bar, and some little girl was in there doing reps with 70 pounds, and I'm like, oh shit, this little tiny woman, and I can't pick up 70 pounds. That's bad. That's very bad. Heck, I used to work out with reps of 350 when I had one of them universal gyms, and I could put 350 on the stack and do reps with that. My brother one time pushed that up. I was very amazed. I was really amazed, and he did it quick too. But I couldn't do it. I tried. I tried popping for it. Nope, wasn't happening. 350, I could do 350, but you know, I do like 10, and then the next one I could probably get 5 or 6. That's your mind doesn't let you keep doing it. Your mind gives out. That's like them Germans. The way they got that guy to lift that big weight is they told him it wasn't that heavy. He says, this is just a trial one. It's only this many kilos. And here it was like 20 kilos over that, and he set the world record at the Olympics the one year because he didn't know. So his mind wasn't clouded, and he said, oh, I do this all the time. So he clean and jerked, I don't know, 400 kilos or some shit like that. I forget how much that guy picked up, but it was quite a bit. Yeah, I know. I was in Missouri. That was a humid place. When I lived in Missouri, I did a job down there, and that was you just go into a sweat. As soon as you walked out the door, you were just dripping. Same way with Dallas. You just started dripping because of the humidity. But you know, you get that Gulf breeze. I don't think the South is going to be that hot for me. I worked down in Tennessee for almost a year. Yeah, I guess it was about a year, and then I worked down in Louisiana. We went down to Louisiana, but what happened was they chased us out because we had our guns, and they said you can't take guns in there because we were going to refix the electric, you know, the high voltage and stuff to get the power online, and the military guys were there with their M16s and all this stuff, and they told us you can't. Let me get my battery. Let me get this plugged in here. And they told us you can't have your guns. And I'm like, hey, what are we going to do? Yes, those people are robbing people. We're taking our guns. And they said, no, you're not going to never turn in your guns. And we said, screw you. You fix your own electric. And we headed back up to Pennsylvania. Said, screw you. We're not working down here. Because we always carried a pistol on the job. You run into some real yokels. We were doing a job. It was a side job. It wasn't union. And these plumbers came in. And they pulled out pipes and started smashing my boss's truck, calling us scabs and stuff. And I guess we were. And I was like, man, look at that shit. And they came up the porch with their pipes, and both of us had pistols. We pulled them out and said, boys, you better get the hell out of here. Called the cops. We had the cops on the phone, and my buddy was actually, back then, he was filming it on his phone. This was a while ago. And in order to keep them from going to jail, because this was this dude's plumbers, it was his two best workers, and older guys. These guys were in their 50s. And we told the owner of the thing, you got to buy us a brand new truck. And he bought my boss a brand new truck. Brand spanking new Ford Econoline. And he had an old beat up truck. So that was pretty cool. Yankee. I saw that on that movie with that Chris Farley. He caught the dude in there yanking his monkey, and yeah, you're a Yankee. That was a silly movie. The brake pad guy. But, well, I went for about 3 hours. I'm probably going to let you guys go. But I'm glad things are turning around better, and I'm glad you guys popped in. It's nice yakking with you. Ronald, you take care, and Simply Nice, just keep looking. Keep looking and reading, and who knows? We'll see how it goes for you, that's for sure. And Dwight, it's nice yakking with you, and I'll talk to you guys again. Take care now, yeah?